How many of you would like to have a lot more money in your lives? Oh, come on. How many would like to have a lot more money in your lives? How many would like to have a lot more happiness in your lives? How many of you could stand a heck of a lot more of both in your lives? You've come to the right place. My name is Harv Eker, and welcome to the Millionaire Mind Intensive. The first thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge you for being here. There is a saying that says 80% of success is just what? Anybody know? Showing up. So, since I can't reach you all, I need you to do me a little favor and simply reach around, pat both your neighbors on the back and go, congratulations for being here. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for trusting me with your time. You know, speaking of trust, it reminds me of a story of this guy who's walking along the edge of a cliff, and all of a sudden he doesn't realize this, but he trips and he falls off over the edge of the cliff, and he has the presence of mind, however, to turn around and grab onto the ledge. And he's holding on, and he's holding on, and he doesn't know what to do. He's holding on, and he yells up, is there anybody up there that can help me? There's no, is there anybody up there that can help me? And finally, this big bellowing voice calls out, this is God. I can help you. Just let go and trust. And all of a sudden you hear, is there anybody else up there that can help me? Hey, you might as well laugh now because it don't get any better, okay? Anyways, let's see where everybody's from. Stand up and give yourselves, everybody included, give them a round of applause. If you're from anywhere in the Seattle area, let's see you stand on up here. Come on. Good job, and have a seat. Stand up if you're from anywhere else in this Washington area. Where are you? Please stand up. Where are you guys? Good job. Thanks for being here. Stand up if you're from anywhere else that I haven't mentioned yet. Just stand up here. Where are you? Okay. Now stay standing, all right? Stay standing. Let's find out where people are from here. Starting over there. Where are you from, ma'am?
From Medford.
Medford, Oregon. Give me a hand. Come on. You're from Oregon? Yeah, have a seat there. Great. You're from?
Charlottesville, Virginia.
Virginia. Right. You're from? Maryland. You're from? San Francisco. You're from? San Diego. Haywood, California over there. Good. You're from where? I'm sorry. Idaho over here. Good. Santa Monica. Very good. Right here? Woodland, California. Yes, back there? Denver. Have a seat. Vancouver, Canada. Excellent. Yes? Oklahoma. Yeah, right over here. Where are you guys from?
Camarillo and Los Angeles.
You're from where?
Camarillo, California.
Camarillo and Los Angeles. Thank you for coming. Very good. Good. Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Wow, that's great. Right there? Wisconsin. Very good. Thank you. Wisconsin. Thank you for being here. Vancouver. Nashville, Tennessee. Have a seat. Right here.
Southern Oregon Coast.
Oregon, very good. Good. Newport, Oregon, thank you. Kelowna, British Columbia, very good. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's go all the way back there. Dallas, Texas. Very good. Right back there. Portland, Oregon. Excellent. Nevada City. Great. Beautiful place. Yes. Sacramento, a whole group. Good. Thank you.
Victoria.
Excellent. Good job. Wisconsin. Okay, good job. Right here?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, Tulsa. Good job. Very good, excellent. Right here? Atlanta, Georgia. Good. Hey, thank you for coming. Big round of applause to everybody. Great. You know, when you have people from all over, it just melds the energy so nice, isn't it? That's great. So, hey, your job here, especially from the Seattle area, is to make all these other people feel welcome, right? Very good. Now, stand up if this is the first time you've ever been to one of our programs or seen myself or anything like that. Just stand up if you've been to first time ever, evening, anything. You guys, a big round of applause for courage here. A lot of courage here. Excellent work. Yeah. You trusted somebody. This is very important. Anytime I do any seminars, I have 2 rules. How many rules? 2. First rule is this, and I mean it sincerely. Don't believe a word I say. Now, why might I suggest that wholeheartedly? Why might I suggest that? That's right. Whose experience can I come from? Just my experience. It does not make it true. It doesn't make it false. It doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it my experience. All I can let you know, however, is that the principles you're going to learn here this weekend completely transform my life and have now transformed the lives of literally thousands and thousands of other people. And if you learn them and you what? Use them, apply them, I believe they can transform your life too. But all I can ask of you is, would you be willing to be open for this weekend and then try the material out in whose life? In your life. And whatever works for you, keep on what? Doing it. And whatever doesn't work, you're welcome to what? Throw it out. How many of you be willing to be open for this weekend? Good. Anybody not? We'll see. As for rule number 2, how many like to get the most out of this weekend? How many like to learn faster? How many like to remember more of what you learn? Research shows the key to that is what? Who can tell me? Repetition is part of it. What else? Yes, interaction, participation, involvement. Absolutely. Good job. How many knows ask a lot of questions? What do questions do? Yes, good. Questions hook the mind. What do? Hook the mind and keep you involved. Absolutely. By the way, how many knows that sometimes I leave the last word off the end of my sentence and your mind just fills in the... You guys are good. And then sometimes I'll ask you to write things down. Sometimes I ask you to repeat things. To what? Now, why on earth would I ask you to repeat things? That's right. To be involved, absolutely, is one thing. Repetition is another. And secondly, isn't it true that if I say something, it means one thing? But if you say it, it means what? Everything. Does that make sense? You know, the fact is you're not all that interested in what I have to say, but you're really interested in what you have to say. Yes? So we utilize that to help you learn faster. So, how many of you are willing to participate 100% this weekend? Good. Anybody not? We'll see. And just for the record, how many of you would never raise your hand no matter what I ask you? There you are. All right, trick question. So since we're going to spend the next couple of days together, is it okay if I tell you just a little bit about myself? I don't know about you, but whenever I am in an audience like this and I am trying to, learn about success and money, the first thing that I want to know is, how did the guy or gal up here make it? Yes? And so I'm going to tell you how I did it. If you want to take notes, you're welcome to do that. It's pretty simple. You might be able to remember. But it's a step-by-step process, the system that I used. I went out one day and I bought myself an apple. I paid 5 cents for that apple. I took it home. I shined it up all night long. And the next day I sold it for, what? 10 cents. With that money, I bought 2 apples. I took them home. I shined them up all night long. And the next day I sold them for 20 cents. Now, this went on and on and on and on until I had amassed a grand total of $1.60. Then my great uncle died and left me $1 million. So that's how I did it. Is there any questions about my background at all? Well, as I said, I guess my claim to fame is that I own at least a dozen different businesses before I hit the age of 30. Included in one of those was opening one of the first retail fitness stores in all of North America. The interesting thing about that is that I started that company with $2,000 I borrowed on my Visa card. From there, I was able to open 10 stores in only 2.5 years, and then I sold half the company's shares to the H.A. Heinz Corporation, the ketchup people, for $1.6 million. How many wouldn't mind starting with a $2,000 credit card loan and filling out $1.5 million for half your company a couple years later? Yeah, so from there, I kind of semi-retired. I moved to sunny San Diego. Anybody been down there? Great place to visit. Even better place to live. And I took a couple years off, and then I started doing some consulting, one-on-one. And I suppose it worked for people because they started bringing friends and associates and partners, and pretty soon it was 1 on 2 and 1 on 4 and 1 on 8 and 1 on 12. And someone suggested, say, Harv, you might as well open up a school already. So I said, you know what? That is a really good idea. And I did. I founded the Street Smart Business School based in Southern California, and I taught seminars all across North America, and I taught thousands and thousands of people street smart strategies for high-speed success. What kind of success? High-speed. Good. High-speed success. And in these seminars, I noticed something very, very, very strange. Would you like to know what it was? Okay, I'll tell you next course. But what it was simply this, that you can actually have two people sitting side by side in exactly the same room, learning exactly the same strategies, getting exactly the same tools, and one person would take these tools and they would skyrocket to success. But what do you think would happen for the person sitting right beside them? Not a heck of a lot. And I realized you actually had the greatest tools in the world, but if you got a little leak in the toolbox, you got a little problem. And so we started to design programs based on the inner game. The what game? The inner game of money and success. And when we combined and blended the inner game with the outer game, then virtually everybody's results went through the roof. How many people can understand what I'm saying? Yes? Very good. So that's basically how that occurred. Now, that's what we're going to be doing here this weekend, combining the inner game with the outer game. How many people notice that we often get what we intend? How many people notice that sometimes other things happen for us that we didn't intend? We've had people in this program who came here to learn how to make more money, and what they found was their best friend. We've had people come here to look for financial freedom. What they found was emotional freedom. We've had people come here to look for all of their lessons from up here on the stage, and they found their greatest lesson came at a break while talking with another participant or from sharing with somebody in a class. How many people believe there are no accidents in the universe? See, I wholeheartedly believe that. See, I believe you came here for a reason, and that reason may or may not be conscious to you, but the universe is on purpose. So, I'll ask you this question. How many of you would be open to learning whatever you're supposed to learn here this weekend, however and from whomever and from wherever it comes? Yes? Give someone a high five and say, you're awesome. There you go. Okay. We're going to be doing a lot of talking about the mind this weekend. A lot of talking about the what? The mind this weekend. Now, the conditioned mind is very slick, and it may try and take you out of the game. Why would it do that? Yes, because its primary function is protection. What's the word, please? Protection. And therefore, what it believes its job is to what? To keep things the same. Does that make sense? Right. So it does it in a lot of different ways. How could it take you out? Well, one way is by discounting the information or discounting where the information comes from, namely myself. So all I would ask of you is, the rule is simply this: don't shoot the messenger. Now, you know, in Canada, I only say that metaphorically, but in Los Angeles, you actually have to, you know, explain this to them, right? It also might tell you things like, you know, I have a headache, I don't feel well, I'm really tired, I got to go to the bathroom for the 48th time this hour, you know, I got to make this call, got to make that call. And all that's trying to do is what? Take you out of anything that might be able to change it. So when your mind is trying to take you out, you're going to say the 4 magic words back to your mind. And those are what? Thank you for sharing. And then you focus your energy and attention right back here. And you do not let your mind take you out in any way, shape, or form. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, very good. Good. Now, how else might it try and take you out? Well, it might attempt to use the 3 most dangerous words in the English language. What's it say, please? One more time, twice as loud. I know that. I know that. How many people's minds ever said that? What happens when your mind says that? Yes, it shuts down. It's closed to learning, right? Right. So let me ask you this question. How do you know if you know something? That's right. If you live it, you know it. If you don't live it, then you heard about it, you talk about it, you think about it, you might have read about it, but you don't know it. So, when and if your mind comes up with those words, simply what? Recognize them and say the 4 magic words again are what? Thank you for sharing, and really, really make sure that you come present and pay attention. Because your mind is saying, oh my God, there's going to be some changes here. I better get back into control. And that's why you really need to pay attention to that particular point. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. Very good. Okay. Also, I have to mention this too. We're going to be using several very powerful processes over the weekend. And if you happen to be in formal therapy right now, then you need to be fully responsible for yourself. And if something isn't appropriate for you, then you have to excuse yourself from that process. Now, this is not an excuse to not fully participate here, okay? It's just a precaution. And again, this warning is not overly necessary in Canada, but in California, everybody is in therapy, and so you've got to mention it, right? All right. Now, so the question I have for you is this. Raise your hand if you came here to do this. What's the word? Raise your hand if you came here to do that. Excellent. Good. The key questions we're going to answer in this program is, what is stopping you from reaching your full personal and financial potential? Understand? Now, the answers, though, are not necessarily in learning more. Josh Billings said this, I quote, "It's not what we don't know that prevents us from succeeding. It's what we know that just ain't so that is our greatest obstacle." Do you want me to repeat that? All right. It's not what we don't know that prevents us from succeeding. It's what we know that just ain't so that is our greatest obstacle. I'll give an example of a story of a young man who goes to a Zen master to become wise. But he already believes he's pretty smart. So he goes to the Zen master and he talks the Zen master's ear off. He keeps talking and talking and telling him all the things he already knows. And so the Zen master is very patient and finally says to the young man, he says, "Would you like some tea?" And the young man says, "Certainly." So he gives the young man a saucer and a cup, and the young man holds it out, and the Zen master begins to pour the tea. And he pours and pours, and he overpours, and it's all over the guy. And the guy says, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? It's all over me." And the Zen master simply says this, he says, "If one's cup is already full, there is no room for anything new." Does that make sense? All right. So let me ask you this question. How many of you are willing to let go of some of your possibly non-supportive ways of being in favor of some more empowering ways of being this weekend? All right. Yes? That's what we're going to be doing the rest of the weekend. Now, this next piece over here is called Winning the Money Game. What's it called? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What was it? Winning the Money Game. Now, this section by far is the most data-oriented, left-brain, logical side of the program. This is the tools. Got it? The tools. So, for those of you who, can't even stand the sight of a number, that's just not your area, I understand fully. And tonight, you just do your very best you can to stay with it. Yes? All right. Now, for those of you who are very, very logical and everything, this will be a breeze for you. However, again, I want to remind you that the rest of the seminar is not like tonight, in as much as tonight I'll probably talk this evening as much as most of the rest of the seminar I'll put together, because the rest of the seminar, you guys are doing the work. Understand? But there is an amount of understanding, an underlying base foundation of data that I need to deliver. And I've got a very short time to deliver it. So are you okay with that? Do I have your permission to go for it on the data side here? Yes? All right, good. All right. This is very important. Tonight has changed the lives, along the whole weekend, but tonight changed the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it has set them free. Are you interested? All right, let's begin. The number one reason most people don't get what they want is because they what? They don't know what they want. By the way, this over here, this is our job. What is it? Unlearn. They don't know what they want. Please read it with me. What's it say? Clarity equals or leads to power. Power is the ability to what? Power is the ability to do. To what? To do or to act. Just think of a car. Power is the ability to do. Unfortunately, most people play the money game with no clear, what's the word? Clear objective. Playing the money game without a clear objective is like trying to play basketball without having any hoops. You dribble around a lot, but you don't score. So, what is your objective when it comes to winning the money game? What constitutes winning the money game for you? Is it 3 square meals a day? Is it having the bare essentials in life? Is it being able to pay the bills? On time would be a miracle. Is it earning $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $500,000 a year? Is it becoming a millionaire, a multimillionaire, a billionaire? Is it being able to retire someday? Listen to this. Most people's strategy for winning the money game is to try and make a lot of money, save some, retire, and then spend the money that they saved enjoying the rest of their life. Yes or yes? Yes. That's the way most people play. But there is a problem with that kind of thinking. It's time for a story. One of my favorites. The Goose and the Golden Egg. There was once a countryman who possessed the most wonderful goose you can imagine. For every day when he visited the nest, the goose had laid a beautiful, glittering golden egg. The countryman took the eggs to market and soon began to get very rich. But it was not long before he grew impatient with the goose because she only gave him a single golden egg a day. He was not getting rich fast enough. Then one day, after he had finished counting his money, the idea came to him that he could get all the golden eggs at once by killing the goose and cutting it open. But when the deed was done, not a single golden egg did he find, and his precious goose was dead. I don't know about you, but this kind of bothers me. It's one of those. So the problem is that if you spend the money that you've saved, you've killed your golden goose. And that's not winning the money game. That's playing Russian roulette and betting that you're going to die before your money runs out. And now what happens if you keep on living? Like, for example, I was just listening yesterday on the news. They were talking, Tom Cruise has a new movie coming out, Minority Report. And they were talking about, it's all about the future, like 2050 or something like that, and how much you learn. And they're actually believing that in 2050, the average lifespan will be 150 to 200 years. Okay? That's not that long away, okay? So what are you going to do if you start spending your money and they come up with the pill when you're just about to go? And you got to, here you go, drink this, and it's another 50 years, buddy. Finance it, right? So what happens if you keep on living and spending without any refills? Hello? Yeah, you go broke very quickly. Therefore, we need another alternative. So, right now, how many of you would like the choice as to whatever you want to do with your time and have that opportunity to do what you want with your time without having to work at all? Yes? All right. How many of you especially want that choice when you're 70 years old? Very good. So the essence word of the money game is this word right here. What we're looking for is, what's the word? Choice. One more time, twice as loud, please. Choice. And in the money game, choice comes from something called, what's it stand for? Financial freedom. What's the words? Financial. So what we're doing here tonight is we're going through the basics, laying the foundation. Now, again, I don't care what you heard before. I only care what you do. Do you understand that? Yes or no? Yes. I only care what you do. And if I can cajole you or massage you or get you more up your level of financial freedom, whatever level you're at, and there are people in this room who are multimillionaires. I know that because I know you. And they come for a tune-up just to make sure they're doing the right things and on track. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So, financial freedom, that's our goal. So, let me ask you this. What is the definition of financial freedom? Pick up your pens and notebooks. I want everyone right now to write down your definition of financial freedom. Take 1 minute and go. Everybody should be writing right now. Okay, let's see what you came up with. Who would like to share what they wrote? Definition of financial freedom is? Okay, basically the ability to do what I want when I want it. Yes, something in that range. Good, good. What'd you have? To do what I want to do, not what I have to do. Excellent, good. Come on, over there somewhere. Yes, right here. Freedom to do what I want and a multimillionaire. Good, good, good. One over here. Yes, right there. That's good. The time to do the things I love and the money to pay for someone to do the things I don't love. Excellent. All right. Let me give you our definition of financial freedom. Maybe it can be useful for you. Listen closely. Please write it down. Financial freedom is simply this: the ability to live the lifestyle you desire without having to work or rely on anyone else for money. I will repeat that. The ability to live the lifestyle you desire without having to work or rely on anyone else for money. So if you work by what? By choice. By what? By choice versus necessity. Now, how many of you agree that living the lifestyle you desire is going to cost some money? Right. And therefore, to be free, we need to be able to earn money without working. Got it? So, again, as a base here, income without work is called, what's it say, please? Passive income. One more time, twice as loud. Passive income. Good. And therefore, the simple, in its simplest format, the simple objective of the money game is to earn enough passive, what's the word? Passive income to pay for the lifestyle you desire. Got it? So in short, a simple formula looks like this. You achieve financial freedom when what? Your passive income is greater than your expenses. Now, most people are barely getting to a point where their active income is greater than their expenses. Yes or no? That's not the game. The game, you win the game. Say this, put your hand on your chest. Say, I win the game. I win the game. When my passive income, is greater than my expenses. Good. Give somebody a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind. Good job. So now let's put this down. We've got to get this personalized for you. So the key question is this: how much money do you need to be financially free? Lots. That's usually the thought most people have. So the first thing we have to do is we have to determine how much your desired lifestyle is going to cost, right? So we have to understand what's this, then we'll find out what this is, yes? All right. So how much money is it going to take for you to live the lifestyle you want on an annual basis? Let's figure out that amount now. So everyone should have a note, paper, and pencil in their hand or pen. And write down that number. How much is it going to take for you per year? What's the amount per year for you to live the lifestyle you want? Now, you're also going to have to add, once you have that number, I want you to add, listen closely, 50%. How much? 50%. To handle taxes and inflation. So if you said, I need $200,000 a year to live the lifestyle I want, then how much is my final total going to be? $300,000. Excellent. Good job. Write down that amount. This amount is absolutely critical for you to know. How much is it going to take for you to live the lifestyle you want on an annual basis? and then add 50% to that. Write that down nice and big. And everyone needs that number. Okay, good. Now here's the clincher. Now that you know how much money you need per year, now we have to look for how we can receive that amount of money without working. Got it? Now listen closely. There are two primary sources. How many? Two primary sources of passive income. The first one is money working for you. So in the first one here, it's all about, let's call it drawing interest from lump sums of capital, or a lump sum of capital. So the first strategy is, listen closely, to save and amass a substantial amount of money. Another way of putting that is to do this. I know you must have some inside joke because you can't be laughing at my goose, right? There's no way. It's got a tail. I see. That's what I was missing, right? It looks like it's missing something else. But anyways. Wings. Oh my God, no wonder. Look, they don't pay me the big bucks for the artistry, all right? All right. So here's what we've got. We amass a large amount of money, yes, in a big lump sum. Got it? Right. And we have this big goose, and then we put this into, once we have it, we put it into, let's say, interest-bearing accounts, yes? And then what happens? The interest comes down, right? The egg, right? And then that goes to us. Do you understand this, yes or no? All right, this is just a very simple way of doing this. So this includes basically all of your financial investments. Now, we're going to continue on with this. So assuming for a moment that you're fortunate enough to get 10%, how much? An average of 10% on your money. How much of a lump sum of capital do you need working for you in order to derive the annual income you wrote down? Okay, in other words, how much of a golden goose lump sum do you need working for you so that 10% of that is your annual income that you wrote down? So the way to do that is to take your annual income plus your 50%, right? And multiply by 10. How much? 10. And that's assuming you're getting 10%. If today, unfortunately, things are like 5%, you'll have to multiply by 20. But let's just start with 10%, yes? Let's assume we can do that. So everybody take your lump sum, multiply by what? Very good. Do that now, please, and come up with that amount. So, for example, if you said you need $100,000 a year to live the way you want to, then how much are you going to need in your golden goose? $1 million. Excellent. Let's take a little poll here. How many people said that you need an initial capital? I'm talking about the big lump sum, the big golden goose here, of $500,000 or less. Raise your hands. Okay. What you're saying is that you want to live on $50,000 a year or less, yes? Because if your golden goose is $500,000, what egg's going to drop to you every year? 50,000. Got it? So adjust your numbers, guys, unless that's what you want. I'll ask again. How many of you say that your golden goose lump sum is $500,000 or less? Raise your hand. Okay, good. How many of you are saying that it's $500,000 to $1 million, your lump sum goal? So you're saying you want to live between $50,000 and $100,000 a year, yes? All right. How many of you are saying it's between $1 million and $2 million? Good. $2 million to $5 million. Good. $5 million to $10 million. Above $10 million. Good. Very good. Now, considering where you are right now, how many of you find this a pretty scary proposition? Okay, very good. Now, so how many of you wouldn't mind creating a situation where you don't need to amass as much of a lump sum in capital? Would that be good? All right. So the way to do that is to earn passive income from other sources. What kind of sources? And the other sources, we're going to call them passive business income. Repeat that with me, please. Passive. Excellent, excellent. So, passive business income. Now, that's business working for you. Here's what I need. I need a little bit of a hand here. I'm going to ask someone who's got some pretty nice writing to help me out here with the flip chart. Who can help me out? Who's got some nice writing? You have nice writing? Yeah, come on up here. Give him a hand for courage. Come on, let's go. Hey, come on, guys. Where are you? Hey, Ken. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to use all different colors, and you're going to write down what we tell you to write down here on the flip chart. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You can write them all over the place, okay? All right. It's Ken, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken. Don't be too shy now. We're going to help Ken out. All right, that was Ken. Who else wants to help out here? All right. We're going to help Ken out by sharing with him some of the methodology of creating passive business income, some examples of that, okay? And he's going to write them down. Okay, who's got one? ATM machines, good. ATM machines, excellent, good. Along the same lines, let's cover that one first. ATM machines, so these are kind of like machinery, vending type of things. So ATM, put down vending. Give me some more like that. Rental income, good. So rental properties, rental real estate. What else? Yes. Car washes, good. What else? Royalties, good. Royalties. He thought it was easy. Okay. Royalties from what? So write down royalties, please. Give me examples. Someone's bought the rights. So in other words, give me an example of something you can do to receive royalties from. Write a book, excellent, good. Write a song, excellent. What else? Software, excellent. What else? Yes, and inventions. Yes, good. What else? Blackmail. That's, no, we don't want to write that. No. So we got royalties, good. Now, yeah, another one was licensing, yes? Licensing. Another one is franchising, but not being the franchisee, being the franchise what? Franchisor, good. Licensing, franchising, good. Network marketing, absolutely. Network marketing, very good. Now, having said network marketing, I want to clarify this, okay? Because there's a lot of you. Raise your hand if you've been involved in network marketing whatsoever, yes? A lot of you, good. So listen closely. There's a distinction, a small distinction, but a distinction so be that, between passive income and residual income, right? There's all kinds of definition, but let me give you the definition that we use. Residual income is a good example of network marketing, whereby you are getting money on an ongoing basis, in other words, residually, from other people's efforts. Is that good? But that doesn't mean that you're still not working. Understand? Passive income means you are not actively working. So, when does network marketing become passive income? Yeah, when you take off for 6 months and go across the world and hang out, and the money keeps coming in. But while you're working, it's not passive income. Now, does that make sense? Having said that, I also want to clarify this. When I say passive income, I don't mean that you can just lie on the beach for a year and never pick up the telephone. Okay? That's not passive income. That's la land. Because in my experience, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's very possible. But in my experience in the real world, generally, even with passive income, there's a little thing called maintenance. What's it called? Maintenance. And it's normal. It's normal. So what we mean is, though, yeah, you have to pick up the phone once in a while. You have to go to the bank and cash your checks if you want to. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of maintenance is still part of passive income. Do you understand? Then that's okay, right? So if you have a vending machine, for example, Root, and you've got a couple of people who handle everything, that one person handles the repairs, one person handles filling it up, one person handles getting the money for you, one person goes in the bank, you know, that's great, but usually you're going to get a call once in a while, yes or no? And that's normal to do that. What else? Give me some more examples of passive business income. Owning mortgages. Owning mortgages. Now, would that be one, yes or no? That's not what we're going to call that, because we're going to put that into the other one. We're going to put that into the financial instruments, because owning mortgages itself is a financial investment necessarily versus a passive business on an ongoing basis. Good. That was a very good try, though. What else? 900 numbers. Okay, fine. 900 numbers is a good one. Good. 900 numbers. Good. Website. Yes, so internet marketing. Please put that down. Thank you. Internet marketing. In the old days, it used to be direct marketing, but today is internet marketing. Is it possible to create a business with the use of the computer where basically everything is fairly automated? Yes or yes? And people log in, they buy something, they get it shipped to them from a fulfillment house, and they send you the money on the credit card, and all you have to do is cash that check. Yes? Is that a good thing to have? That's a very good thing to have. Give somebody a high five and say, that's a good thing to have. All right, give me some examples, more examples of passive businesses. So I'll give you another example. Storage units. Storage units, a facility of sorts. Yeah, you have to have a manager in there, but, usually it's not like you have to feed the lockers, right? So there's storage unit. It could be regular storage, or it could be even RV storage or boat storage. Yes? Here's another great business for you. If you can get it into this business, you're golden. Parking lots. Do you want to know why most people who own parking lots are very, very wealthy people. You don't even know who owns these parking lots, do you, for the most part? No, because they're too rich to even tell anybody about it. They don't tell people when they own parking lots. You don't, what do you do? Yeah, I own parking lots. No, you don't hear that, right? No. But they're so rich, they don't even come out of the house anymore. All right, parking lots is a great one. Laundromats, right? Now, laundromats could be good, not so good. Again, there might be a bit of maintenance to there. Laundromats could be good. I have another one for you. I have a friend who bought a campground. A what? A campground. Now, he didn't know it was going to be a passive income business or not, but he would stay in the little hut all day long, especially in the summer, and he'd take the money and all that. Then what happened is he had an opportunity to look at another campground and buy one close by, and he was making very good money, so he decided he would do that. But in order to get away to look at the campground, he had to take the night off. Yes? So he didn't know what to do, so he remembered that he'd been to a campground a long time ago, and they had a little honor system where, you have a little box, you throw the envelope in, you put your $7 or $12 in, you throw it in for the night, yes? How many have been to courses like that? Good. So here's what he found when he went away that night. He had a 96% honor. In other words, pretty well everyone did pay, except for one person paid a buck too little and wrote a note, said, sorry, I'll pay it back the next day. So everybody paid. And he has about 100 and something sites, so that's a lot of sites, yeah? So he noticed something, that he could actually do this without being there. So guess what he has now? He has 4 campgrounds. How many? 4. Guess what each of them is based on? Guess how often he shows up? He doesn't show up. He has someone who collects up the money basically once a day and bring it to his bank. Guess what he does now? He camps a lot. I'm not kidding you. Now he goes camping, right? You have to sit in the house. Oil well, yeah. Oil well is a very good possibility. Good. Yes? Yeah, tanning salons. You don't have to do that much there. An exercise center, that's a possibility. Usually when here's the thing, usually the more employees, the less passive. Understand? If you can do something with just 1 or 2 employees, you're like a storage center. You don't need 58 employees for a storage. You need 1 employee manager. He's got a key, opens up the thing, put it in, take it out, here's the money, goodbye, right? But if you need a lot of employees, there's usually going to be management. Now, having said that, listen closely. Another one is, put this one over here, systemizing any business. So you take any business, you systemize it so that you don't have to be there and it runs without you, yes? Now it's a passive income business. And hopefully, how many of you picked up my book at one point in time, Speed Wealth, right? You read that? It talks a lot about what? Systemizing your business so that you can what? Sell your business. Yes? So hold on, because if you say sell your business, that doesn't mean passive income. But what you could do is this, listen closely. If you'd rather go for passive income, what do? When you sell your business, you take part of it in cash and part of it in what? Long-term, ongoing what? Payments. Yes? Yeah, with a provision, of course, that if it goes down in any way, shape, or form, you get that business back. Right? So make sure you have enough up front to where you're happy, because if the business goes down, you can't do much about it at this point. Right? Good. What was the thing we just said over here we were going to write down? Continuancy program. Who can give me an example of a continuancy program?
Lawn maintenance.
Yes, lawn maintenance. Excellent. Excellent. So here's an example. Instead of going there and going to the homeowner and say, listen, can I mow your lawn today? You say, can I mow your lawn today? Give an example. So you say, it's $30 to mow your lawn. Great. However, after I'm done, collect the $30, say, listen, if you'd like your lawn mowed every 2 weeks, it'll only be $19 to mow your lawn. So all I'm looking for, that guy says, well, that's great. So good. I'll take a 1-year contract. Got it? Or a season contract. Now, you could have lawns, and on the other side, you can have what? Snow removal, yes? Right, so you have both. Now, the smart thing, though, is you don't go as a one at a time. You create a continuancy program so they've got a contract. Now, I have a student, a participant down in San Diego, who heard this. You know what he started? He started car wash, a detail car wash thing, right? And so what he would do is he'd go to a house, they're usually a little more well-off people, go to a house and he'd say, listen, I'll come and I'll wash your car and I'll give it a mini detail every 2 weeks. And it's $40 for that. On the other hand, if you take a 1-year contract, it's only $28. A lot of people took the 1-year contract, right? Because they want to do this. So he started doing that until he became what? Way too busy. He took all these on. So what? He hired a couple of guys to start doing the washes. And then what did he do? He went out and got more contracts, hired more people. Now what does he do? He has 2 salespeople who all they do is get contracts, and he's got 16 people washing cars. And what does he do? Nothing. Understand? Passive income, passive income. Very good. All right, good. And yes, any type of club, any type of what? Club. With ongoing fees is an excellent idea. And the less you have to do for them yourself, the more simplified it is, the better. Does that make sense? Very good. So we got lots of different ways to create passive, what kind? Business income. So give Ken a big round of applause so you can write that down. Very good. Come on, guys. Thank you for doing that. Good job, good job. Okay. So, y'all understand where we're coming from here, yes? Now, let me ask you this question. Do we just have one stream of passive business income? No, we can have what? We can have several streams of that coming to us. Several of those things. We have campgrounds, storage units, we have a book, we have a song, we have lots of different streams, right? Now, there is also, by the way, a lot of people who talk about multiple streams of income. Is that good, yes or no? Yes. Well, it's good as long as they meant something else. Because you know what? For the most part, if you say to most people out there, if they haven't heard what we've been talking about here, multiple streams of income, you know what that means? That means you work your bloody ass off. So what's the word that we had to have in there? Thank you. Multiple streams of what? Passive income. That is nice. I am not interested in more multiple streams of income. Passive income. Now, there are those people who talk about multiple streams of income, and inherently they mean passive income, if you read what they say. Understand? You want to be looking for that. Otherwise, if you have 6 jobs, that's multiple streams of income, yes or no? That's not what we're looking for, are we? Okay, so what's the key word? Give me a high five and say passive. Passive, passive, passive. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, good job. Shh. Now, so to review, the objective of winning the money game is to become financially what? Free. To become financially free, you have to have enough passive income to pay for your desired lifestyle. To have enough to pay for your desired lifestyle, listen closely, your best bet, your what? Your best bet is to have both money working for you and what? Passive income businesses working for you. Does that make sense? So you want both elements working for you. Is that yes? All right, good stuff. Both elements working for you. Y'all understand so far, yes? Okay. There are 5 critical factors. How many? 5 critical factors that are the elements of your financial freedom. Would you like to know what they are? All right. Now, remember I told you in the evening seminars, for those of you who attended, raise your hand if you attended, that there are 5 elements are like having 5 wheels on the bus. Got it? You miss any one of these wheels, you're going to have a problem. And most people only work on one wheel. Therefore, they're missing 4 wheels, and that's why their whole ride to financial freedom, if they ever make it, is what? Very slow, lots of struggle, lots of... So these are the 5 wheels on the bus. Let's see what they are. The first one is your working income. Please write that down. You'll need to write all these down. Working income. The second one is saving. The third wheel is your investments. The fourth wheel is passive income. And the fifth wheel is S. Let's talk about that. How many of you, so do y'all understand what these are? Yes? Working income, savings, investment, passive income, and S. How many of you would like the secret or a secret that will cut your time to financial freedom in about half? Yes? Good. Now, before I say what this is, please understand where I'm coming from. At no time when I talked in the evening seminars, on the radio, on TV, any way you got here, did I ever say this seminar was about becoming a billionaire. All right? I said very specifically that this seminar will teach you and move you very quickly towards what? Winning the money game. Got it? What did we already agree that winning the money game was? Financial. Do you understand? You got it, yes or no? The choice to work only if you want to. Otherwise, you don't ever have to work again. Yes? All right, so that's what we're coming for here. So what will create financial freedom faster is this word right here. If you are willing to do this. What's the word, please? Simplify. Simplifying your lifestyle. I'll give you an example. There was a woman back east that did this program, and she was a nurse. And she had a home that she bought 7 years prior to coming to the program for $200,000. How much? 7 years later, in a very strong market, she sold it for $500,000. How much? So her net profit was how much? $300,000. She was going to just buy another house, right? Except she came to this seminar, she learned about winning the money game. That the goal was to win the game. And so instead of buying another house, she took her $300,000 and she bought a second mortgage for 10%. A very strong second mortgage for 10%, which gives her how much money a year? $30,000 a year. Understand? Now, she's a single girl. She was only 30 years old, and she moved in with her sister. So how much? So by simplifying her lifestyle, all of a sudden, guess what she became? Financially free. Because she could live on $30,000 a year quite comfortably. She's a nurse. She works long hours. You know what I'm saying? Yes or no? Yes. So this girl became financially free on $300,000, not because $300,000 is a lot, it's because she doesn't spend that much. She doesn't need to spend that much to be a happy person. Meaning this, if you can live on less and be a happy person, you have now just cut the necessity of this huge lump sum of money and all this money that you need to have coming in to win the game. Do you understand? So let me say this. From where I come from, most people don't get taught this at a young age. Where I come from, the game I'm going to reiterate is to win the game. Winning the game means you never have to work again. The faster you can win the game, the better. My philosophy is simply this. First, win the game, and then go for some gravy if you want it. Most people have their mind set on gravy, and because of that, they never even win the game. So let's get on par here. The goal of this program is to help you win the game once and for all. This woman never has to work again. As long as that second mortgage keeps the way it is, and it always has. Now, here's the other thing that she does. Listen to this. She spends 6 months of a year now, listen to this, in Fiji because her money goes further. Now, most of us work our whole life to try and get to Fiji. Yes or no? How many people can understand now the little switch that we've done here? You understand? We're not saying that it takes billions and gazillions to win the game. Now, if that's what you had in your mind before, let's let that go. And let's go with very simply what winning the game is when your passive income exceeds your expenses. When your passive income pays for your, here it is, desired lifestyle. And here's my experience. When I was broke, my desires were extreme. But now that I'm really, really, really rich, it's funny, I don't seem to need as much money anymore. I don't seem to need those things that I thought I wanted and needed. In fact, I got tired of them very quickly. Do you understand? Like, I was sure all I want to do is laze around and play golf. You know, especially with my golf game, that idea went really quickly. You know, I wanted a boat, got a boat. Oh, too much maintenance, I don't want a boat anymore, I'll sell a boat. You know, it's not that much, you know what I'm saying? So we have this idea, and because a lot of us have this idea that we need billions and millions of dollars in order to win the game, you know, it kind of takes us out. It's like this thing out there that's just like, it's hard to win, it's way up there. But what if we make the game really easy to win? Now let me ask you a question. Are you bought into, and would you be willing to say, okay, I can understand that. I win the game when I'm free. Raise your hand if you can buy into that one. You understand what I'm saying? If you have to win the game when you're a billionaire, you've got a long and hard road to hoe. I'm not saying you can't be a billionaire, but I'm saying this. Let's switch the order. Let's make winning the game being free, and billionaire comes next. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? So step number 1 is let's be free. And the fastest way to get to step number 1 is to make sure all of these are working for you, especially simplifying your lifestyle to a point where you don't need billions of dollars to be free. You got it, yes or no? Give somebody a high five and say, you've got a millionaire mind. Okay, so let's see where we're at. So the key to financial freedom is to pay attention to each of these areas individually and in combination. Now again, is there a lot of people who have a strong working income? Yeah, but they don't save any of it. So will they ever be free? Is there people who have a working income but they save it but they don't invest it? Yes? They'll never be free. Is there people who have working income, save it and invest it, but they have no method of passive income? It'll take a while, right? And is there people that have all this, but they have such a huge lifestyle expenditure that it's very hard for them to become free ever? Yes or no? So if you want to be free, what do you have to have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wheels on the bus working simultaneously. Does that make any sense whatsoever? So, this formula is often the very first clue as to why you may not be reaching your full financial potential right now. So the first key to any change, it starts with an A. What's the word? Awareness. What's the word? Awareness. So one of our jobs, and our major job this weekend, and you'll see it throughout the weekend, is listen closely. Shh. To make the invisible visible. Say that with me. To make the invisible visible. So let's do this right now. Let's do a little exercise. I want you to write these 5 down and describe, so this is your financial freedom status here. Describe your current personal status in each of the 5 freedom factors. In other words, how are you doing with each of them separately? So write down each of them and rate them 1 to 10. 1 means I'm doing dismal in one of these areas, in the area, and 10 means I'm doing fantastic, and 5 means I'm doing mediocre, and 2 means that I'm not doing that great, but and 8 means I could do better, but I'm doing good. So if you're earning a massive working income, you might say I'm doing a 10 there. And I'm saving not much, but a little bit, maybe a 4. I'm not investing anything, so a 0. Passive income, forget it. Simplifying, I don't know, I buy everything in sight, so I'll give myself a 1 there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, yes or no? All right, go ahead and write down each of them. And everyone needs to do this. Write down a 1 through 10 and rate yourself. 10 being I'm doing fantastic with this one. 1 means I'm doing nothing. Again, you have to know what's happening with your bus here. All right, now here's the next thing. I want you to take a moment and circle the factor or factors that need some improvement. Circle them so you see them. You got to be visual. Circle the factor or factors that could use some improvement here. Okay. How many of you have some factors that could use some improvement? Good. Give somebody a high five and say, I can improve on this. Okay, how y'all doing? Y'all with me so far? Is this making sense to you so far? Now, later on, we're going to talk about exactly how to make sure this is happening. Got it? Yeah. But do you understand the difference in the game so far, yes? So now we have a very specific objective, yes? What's the objective? Freedom. Winning the game means what? Financial freedom, which means what? Having enough what? Passive income to pay for the lifestyle I desire. Okay? Got it? Yes. All right. Now, very, very important part here. How many people have read this book? It's called The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Anybody? Very good. Now, in this book, this group did a survey of millionaires on this continent, and they found some very, very interesting results as to who they are and how they attained their wealth. Would you like to know what it boils down to? The whole book, with all the numbers and all the data and all of this and all that, boils down to one thing. Do you want to know what it is? It very simply is this: that they are good at managing their money. What's the words? Managing their money. Managing their money. It's very important to realize that wealthy people aren't any smarter. They just have better money habits. So that the single biggest difference between financial success and financial failure is, listen closely, how you manage your money. So, we're going to do a little declaration here. And the declaration is, to master money, I must manage money. Now, before we start with that, a declaration is what? A statement that we all say out loud. And I'm even going to ask you to put your hand over your heart when you say that. Now, I know. When I was in your seat, I felt the same way. It's like, oh my God, how hokey is this, right? But I'll tell you what. I said that when I was broke. Now I'm really rich. So now I believe in them. Understand? So, put your hand on your chest. That's it. Sir, your chest, not her chest. Come on. Let's go. All right. Simply, the declaration is this. To master money, I must manage money. Let me hear you. To master money, I must manage money. Again, please. To master money, I must manage money. One more time, twice as loud. To master money, I must manage money. Give somebody a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind. All right, money management tips. Number 1, you are already managing your money. The only question is, how well? Most do it very poorly or the non-existent system. And a lot of people don't want to manage their money because they feel like they're being strangled. They feel like managing your money is a lack of freedom. Yes? All right. So, number 2, managing your money does not restrict your freedom. It promotes your freedom. How? Well, first, it allows you to create full financial freedom. And secondly, it allows you to spend designated amounts of money without any guilt whatsoever. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over what we call the world's easiest and most effective money management method. Interested? It is so simple. That's why it works. Also, it's perfect for kids. All right, here we go. Now, the question is this. If you were managing people in a company, would you have them all do the same job or all be in the same position? No. Why not? Who can tell me? Thank you. Who said that? Yes, because not enough would get done. You have other things wouldn't get done. Everything wouldn't get done. Does that make sense? Good. So you want to have people in different positions in order to make sure that everything is handled. We're in Canada right now, so we have a very special game here, and it's called hockey, right? What is it? All right, so how many forwards are there? 3 forwards. How many defensemen? 2. How many goalies? 1 goalie. All right, now let me ask a question. If the team, iced a team that had all forwards, what do you think would happen to that team? They'd have a big problem, yes? What if it had all goalies? Huh? You got a problem. What if it was just defensemen? You understand what I'm saying? So the understanding here is that, why is this important? Because each of these positions, what's the word? Has a different job to do. Yes or no? All right. Very, very important to realize that. A specific job. So that the most important part of managing your money is, listen closely, separating. What's the word? Separating your income into separate accounts for specific purposes. So different parts or different accounts have different jobs to do. Now, so here's what we're going to do. In this system, we're going to divide our money into 6. How many? 6 different jars or accounts. Now, the percentages are flexible, but they're basic guidelines that will change according to income and age. But this is where we want. Now, listen closely. All, what's the word? All of the references we're going to make here tonight are in, listen closely, after-tax dollars. Repeat that with me. After-tax dollars. After-tax dollars, which means this, that if you get your income before taxes are taken off, you have to add another account for taxes and make sure you take that off first before you start this system. This is part of it, but you have to take another jar, another account first. Got it? Yes or no? So what we're left here is with after-tax dollars. Now people say all the time, how much do I take off? Well, if you're in a position where no money is taken off your check, I'm going to say a minimum of 20% of the gross goes right into your tax account. Tax jar, tax account. Now, if you got a really good accountant, you might be able to get back some money. Not use it all. If you don't have a good accountant, you might have to add a little bit, but I doubt that, okay? If you have to add more than that, come to one of our other programs. I guess that's what I can tell you. So, let's talk about how this works. So, let's talk about the 6 accounts. The first account, very, very important, is what we're going to call your FFA account. And FFA stands for what? Stands for Financial Freedom Account. Let's do this visually here so we all get it. See this? What's it say? FFA, Financial Freedom Account, right there. We have $100 in after-tax income. How much money goes into there? We're going to start with these basic guidelines. How many percent? 10%. How much money goes into here? $10. Excellent. Good work. All right, next. Let's talk about the FFA account. Your FFA account is your financial freedom account. This is capital for your golden goose. So when is this money ever spent? When? Hello? This money is spent never. Never, ever, ever, ever do you ever spend that money. This money is your golden goose. Remember about that pill that could come along and add 50 years to your life. This is money that is never spent. It is built to become your golden goose, and from that goose, there will be monies, right, in several formats. That money can be spent later when you're free. So let's start by understanding that this is only to be saved and invested and never, what's the word? Never to be spent. This is going to become your lump sum golden goose that you can draw interest from later. Also, you can use this money to create and purchase passive income structures. So let's say you want to buy a laundromat. Can you use this money? Yes, you can. Let's say you want to start a restaurant. Can you use this money? No. Restaurant is not passive business income. This is only, let's say you want to start an internet marketing passive income business. Use the money. Yes. Anything, a car wash. Yes? Yes. Anything that's passive income, you can use. This is your winning the money game account. Without this account, you cannot win the game. This is the account that wins you the game. Do you understand? Look. Where's my hockey players here? All of these guys are fine and dandy, but if you play here, you cannot win the game. You're on defense. These are the guys that win you the game, yes or no? That's your, well, if you don't score, you can't win. Does that make any sense to anybody here? So that's what it's for. Give me some examples of what your financial freedom account is supposed to be used for. Mutual funds, good, yes. Is that an investment, yes or no? Yes, okay, good. What else? Parking lots, so yes, all passive income businesses. Yes, what else? Royalties, passive income, yes. But give me some investments. Your lump sum golden goose. RRSPs or IRAs, yes? Yes or no? Yes, all your financial investments are going to come from here, everything. Got it? Give me some more. Stocks, yes or no? Yeah, bonds, yes or no? Money markets? What else? Come on. Rental property, yeah, if you buy a rental property, you can take it out of there. Yes, 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 good, good. GICs, yes or no? Owning mortgages. Yes, of course. I'm not talking about having a mortgage. I'm talking about owning a mortgage, where people pay you the interest instead of you paying them the interest. Very good. So all of the things that you're going to invest in or create passive income structures with, that's going to come out of this account. Now, I have a question for you. Is this an important account? This is how you win the money game. Very simple. The next one over here is this account. What's it say, please? LTSS. And LTSS stands for long-term savings for spending. So, do we spend this money? Yes, of course. But when do we spend it? Long-term, in other words, this is for the bigger items that you don't normally get to buy because you don't have any money for them. So now you're going to save for them. So how much do we put into here? 10%. Now, here's the thing. You can have more than one of these jars. And let's take another jar here. So let's say, what's some of the things that might go into LTSS account? These are for major expenditures. A car, excellent. What else? Renovations for your house, okay? Yes. What else? An airplane, good. Yes, major vacations. You want to go to Hawaii, it's going to cost $5,000, absolutely. A motorhome, good. College, yes or no? Yes, college for your kids, yes, for sure. Let's say you want to start a restaurant, a working business, right, that takes capital. Where do you get that? Out of your FFA, yes or no? No, you can never get that out of there. Where do you get it from? What? You have an LTSS for it. Let's say you want to clear down old debts. So you've got debts that you're going to pay out of another account, but you want to, chop them down substantially or pay off your mortgage faster, right? So this is like your cookie jar, saving up for something specific. And you only probably have one or two of these things going at once, and they have to be labeled. So this is my LTSS, for example, for my red Mustang convertible, right? And this is my LTSS over here. I've got a lot of credit card debt, and I can do my minimum, but I want to pay down more than my minimum. So I want to chunk money into here for that. Is that okay? Right. So the total is how many percent? 10%. So how much do we put in each out of our $100 of after-tax income? $5 in here, $5 in here. Got it? All right. Very good. You with me so far, yes? Now, I want to cover a few things while we're doing this. Let's talk about this one over here, paying debt. Now, we're going to talk about several different jars in a minute here. But the obvious thing that almost every financial planner will tell you, and everybody who's anything of the know supposedly in this arena, is that before you do anything as crazy as even start putting the money into your FFA account, you want to pay down any debt you've got. Yes or yes? No! That is the absolute stupidest thing you can do. The stupidest. And everybody tells you the same thing. Everybody tells you to do that. How dumb is that? Listen to what I'm saying. Why don't you put all of your money into clearing your debts? Well, in one of our programs called the Wizard Training. What's it called? It's all about manifestation with elegance and ease. And what it says is this. It says that what you focus on expands. Yes or yes? What you focus on expands. Therefore, if you are focusing on your debt, what are you going to get? More on your debt. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand what your focus is on here. You have to focus on what you want. The law says you focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. What do you want? You want to win the game, right? You don't want to play with 6 goalies. You want to win the game. What jar is going to have to be in place to win the game? When do you want to start winning the game? Right now. Not in 5 years. Do you want to know how I know that? Because that's what you're already doing. That's what people already do. They've been playing for years the game of trying to whittle down their debt. And when they do, then they'll finally start playing to score, right? No, you'll never score. Game's already over. You're finished. So understand this. Focus on what you want. Focus on financial freedom versus debt. If you have to, you can renegotiate hopefully with some of your creditors in order to, and say this, look, I cannot pay, this large amount all at once, whatever. Like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to extend the time, but I'm going to pay you a small amount, but I will pay you. I will pay you every single month or whatever it is. You can guarantee on that. Now, you say, oh, you can't do that. Well, most places you can. In banks you can do that. In credit cards you can do that. And most people will do that with you. So before you say you can't do that, you better try. I want you to understand something here. Listen closely here. The key of managing, what's the word? Managing your money is more important than paying off your debt and saving a few percentages. The habit, what's the word? The habit is what's going to change your life. The new habit. Otherwise, you're going to keep the same habit and be in the same position for the rest of your life. Do you understand that? So, your accountant will say, oh my God, what are you talking about? You can only get 7% in your financial, let's say you put in second mortgages, 12% in your financial freedom account, and you're paying 21% on your debts. Pay that off. No, don't do that, because that will force you into that old habit. You need a brand new habit. A brand new what? This is the habit you want. Money into winning the money game. Your financial freedom account is your new habit. Playing to win the game versus playing not to lose the game. Do you understand? Yes or no? I'm going to say this again. This is so critical. You have no idea how many thousands of lives have changed right here. I don't care what kind of debt you have. I want you to begin putting money immediately into this account. This is going to change your life. Miracles will occur as soon as you start playing the game to win instead of focusing on not losing the game by working with your debts. You have no idea the power of this until you start doing it. Also, here's another piece of advice that everyone gives you, and I'm sure you concur. If you've had trouble with credit cards before, then the obvious thing is cut up your credit cards. Well, if you absolutely have no willpower whatsoever, it might be good advice for you. However, I don't recommend that. Why is that? Because that doesn't change anything. All it means is that you've got two halves of a credit card, basically. Look, your life, we are creatures of what? Of what? Give somebody a high five and say, I'm a creature of habit. Now, some of you don't want to say that. Some of you don't want to say that, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you have good and positive and supportive habits, which is what you want to have, yes or no? So you're creatures of habit anyways, and why not use that? The idea is to change your habit, not just delete a habit, because you cannot just delete a habit. You must replace it with another habit, or else it'll come back. Do you understand? That's the way you change habits. So it's much more effective to replace a debt habit with a managing money habit. So besides, if you play your game right, you can use this credit card to pay for most of your vacations, which means you don't need to have as much money in your LTSS account, which means you can put that money into your FFA if you choose to. Got it? How do you use it to pay for your vacations? You know. You got mileage. You've got points on certain cards. Now, I'm going to state something here, and we get a lot of people asking questions. I'm going to say this. In Canada, I mean, in the States, there's different ones. But in Canada, I'm going to recommend you look into one of the cards, okay? Here's the card I'm going to recommend you look into. It's called the TD Travel Gold Visa. TD Travel Gold Visa. Now, why would I recommend that? Very simply, I can only recommend from my experience. I have gone through all of those cards. American Express Gold Card, American Express Platinum Card, 1.5 multiplier, 2.5 multiplier, everything, right? Here's why I like the TD Travel Gold Visa. Because it's totally without restriction. You can go on any airline, any cruise ship, any hotel, any car rental, anything. Because it's just a travel agency. You can say, we booked a little while ago, we want to go to the Bahamas with the family. So we said, what's the nicest hotel in the Bahamas? So then people say, well, Atlantis is the biggest hotel. Anybody been down there? Yeah, Atlantis. And so we said, well, is it available through them? We call them up. We go, you can get Atlantis. Say, look, any hotel means any hotel. It's just like going to your travel agency. Your travel agent doesn't say, oh, I can't book those hotels, right? But a lot of your cards do, don't they? I can't get that airline, I can't get that hotel, this is only on certain seasons, yada, 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 yada. Not this. This is anytime, anywhere, any hotel, anywhere in the world. Is that good or is that good? Good. That's very good. Now listen to this. So here's my recommendation. When you buy things, again, if you have no willpower, then don't do this. But once you get onto the money management system, everything will change for you. Your whole life will change. I guarantee you that. So you'll be able to do this. So why should you blow off $5,000 of your hard-earned cash on a vacation where you could have got that vacation for free using points, right? On the money that you were already spending during the year, yes or no? All it takes is a little bit of understanding and discipline. Also want you to pay off your credit card every month. But you're going to have the money to do that. That's what the management's all about. So we have gone on, we spend a lot of money on our credit cards. And the way I do that is I make sure that pretty well everything I buy, if I have a choice between cash and credit, I do what? Okay. Look, I'm one of these guys that goes to Starbucks. I buy a coffee for $4.35 and I give them my credit card. Okay? Because to me, 4 points is better than no points. It gets me 4 points quicker to the beach in frickin' Maui, okay? That's all I'm thinking about. I say this coffee, 2 gulps, for me, and 1 gulp is to be on Maui, all right? So I pay with my credit card. I also make sure I pay my credit card off every single month, right? Just so you'll know that. Now, what I've also done is I take our corporate account, and we now have a corporate account on the same Visa. So a room like this, could be $8,000-9,000 for the weekend, and probably a lot more, $12,000. All of that's on there. So everything that I do from the $4 coffee to $12,000 rooms is on that Visa. Got it? So that's why I am very fortunate enough I haven't paid for a vacation, even though it's so funny. When you're rich, things just start coming to you. You don't have to pay for things anymore. It's like when I couldn't afford it, oh my God, to take a vacation. Now we just came, we were in the Dominican Republic. We were in Mexico with $1,000 a day for the 4 of us to be in Mexico on all-inclusive. And that's the other thing, by the way. When you do this, go and do all-inclusive resorts. Why? Because then the credit card pays for your food. Understand? The points pay for your food. Because you can't go to a restaurant and use points, understand? But if you have an all-inclusive hotel, food's included, so now your points pay for everything. We went to Mexico, again, it was $1,000 a day. It was $8,000 for the 8 days. You know how much money? I brought $100 with me. That's it. My daughter got a sombrero. That's all we spent. Everything else was taken care of. All on points. Good or good? So I'm not saying you're going to get as many points as I do, and many of you will get many more points than I do. However, I make it a point, if at all possible, if I'm going to buy something, anyways, I don't say, I'm going to buy that to get points. I don't say, I'm going to buy that so I can use my credit card. No, I say, I'm buying that anyway. My choice is check, cash, or credit. I'll take the credit card with the points, obviously. Yes or no? Now, how many of you have a card called Air Miles? The blue card with the thing, right? I'm going to highly recommend you look into TD Travel Gold Visa. So I'm not supposed to say anything negative about other things, all right? But if you check your book on the Air Miles card, if you have, I think it's 647 billion points, you get to fly from here to Edmonton. And only part way. And if you have 3 trillion points, you can get a frickin' lawn chair, okay? Of all the programs I'm seeing, that's the one you really have to look at. You know what? I'll tell you right now. You know how lots of times they say, like in the gas station, you have an Air Miles card? I have one. I go, no. Why? Because it's not worthwhile pulling it out and giving it to the guy. Now, again, that's just my opinion compared to everything else. But that's a great card. You don't have to pay for it. Wonderful. But you get exactly what it's worth. What can I tell you? Okay, that's my experience with that card. And I've seen lots of cards. I even have the American Express Gold and Multiplier 1.5. Great card. You get to multiply your points by 1.5 or 2 times. That's great, right? One little problem. Oh, blackout periods, certain hotels, certain airlines. Great, except I want to go where I want to go when I want to go. Got it? Does that make sense? All right, so I'm suggesting don't cut up your credit cards. If you're going to buy something anyways, be smart, manage your money, manage your credit card, and use that for points towards your vacation so you don't have to put $5,000 in here a year. Does that make any sense? The next account is this one. Who can tell me what that stands for? Education. Education. And we're going to put, again, 10%. So how much is 10%? $10 into education. Now, 10 out of our 100. Why am I adamant about education? Very simply, it worked for me, and it worked big time. See, I had heard that success was a learnable skill, but I was still broke. Understand? And when I started my education, in other words, street smart education, like this kind of education, I got really rich really fast. So it worked for me, and I tried everything. I tried getting in the right business, getting with the right people, yada, yada, yada. But it was only the learning of the inner game and the outer game, the tools, that everything changed for me. So I was very fortunate. I was came home one day, again, I was like 26, 27. I had been up and down like a yo-yo and broke a lot of the time. And I came home and my father had a friend over who was a multi-millionaire. If he wasn't a billionaire, I don't know who was. A multi-millionaire. Why and how he was friends with my father, I have no idea. However he is, okay? So I guess my father was crying the blues to him because he had to loan me more money again, right? And so he took me aside and he said, do you want a little piece of, wisdom? And I said, well, at this point in time, I'll take anything, right? So he said, look, he says, it's very simple. He says, Harv, if you're not doing as well as you'd like to be doing, all that means that there's something you still don't know. Well, being a brash young man at the time, I thought I knew what? But my bank account did not reflect that. And so I listened to him. I said, what are you talking about? He says, you need to get yourself educated. You need to learn your way to success. And he told me what to do. He told me to study entrepreneurs. He told me to do this. He told me to do that, study financial, do this. And I did. And work on the inner game and all that. And I did. And everything changed for me. Everything changed for me. So I am adamant about education because I know that it works. I'm living proof of it. I went from being so broke. Many of you know the story. I had to borrow $1 for gas for my car. Now, first of all, it wasn't my car. Secondly, borrowing $1 for gas is bad enough, but when the dollar's in quarters, that's bad, okay? All right? I went from there to being what most people would consider extremely rich. I'm talking multi-millionaire, okay? And I attribute to one thing, getting educated. I'm not talking about college and high school here. I'm talking about learning how to win the game, both on the inner side and on the outer side. Do you understand, yes or no? Yes. Okay, I hope you get it. I would never say education was important if it didn't do what it did for me, because it's the only thing that did it. It wasn't the right business, it wasn't the right people, it wasn't the right time, it was the right education, learning from the right people and getting it down. So, education allows you to learn how to make more money. It also allows you to grow personally, spiritually, and of course financially. Now, why is this important? Because the universe is dynamic. What is it? That means it's always changing, yes or no? Which means simply this. In the laws of the universe, in the laws of science, ask any scientist, they'll tell you the same thing, any biologist, any doctor, at all points in time, you are either growing or you are dying. One of the two at every moment. Do you understand? Yes or no? It's your choice. You're either growing or you are dying. And my philosophy is simply this. If you budget 10% and allot that to education, you will assure yourself that you will always be what? Growing. I think that's a very good idea. Because that's the other way, it doesn't work too well. Bob Proctor. How many people have heard of Bob? He's a great guy, great teacher. He said this. Listen closely. I love this quote. He said, "The learners shall inherit the earth, while the learned will be beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists." You want me to repeat that? The learners shall inherit the earth, while the learned, as in those who learned before and not continuing, will be beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. Benjamin Franklin, he had another saying. He said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. So, I am big on education. Plus, if you are in any business whatsoever, part-time or full-time, raise your hand if you are. All your education is tax deductible, so you might as well just knock off 40% of the cost. You got it, yes or no? Seminars, books, tapes, that should all be tax deductible. If you're not deducting that, then if you're not in a business, start a business in order to deduct that stuff. Deduct mileage, but most of your education is seminars. You just knock off 40% of the cost. Now, the next account we're going to work on is this one. My least favorite. Stands for what? Necessities. And we are going to devote a grand total right now of what? 55% of our after-tax income to this necessities jar. Necessities. Let's see. 55%. How much goes in there out of 100? 10. Help me out. 20, 30, 40, 50, 55. That's a lot of money, isn't it? 55%. What is this for? Who can tell me? Food. What else? So it's to pay your bills, your living bills. What is it? Your utilities, your house mortgage, your rent, your food, insurance, necessary clothing. I hope some of you heard that. I'll say it again. Necessary clothing. Not your 7th green alligator handbag of the month. Your daily coffee, your makeup, your gym membership, your car payments. I'm going to say it again. Your car payments come out of there. Your credit card payments would come out of there. Now, let's say, and then when you use this one, LTSS is for more, at least your minimum has to come out of here. If you're going to do a minimum payments, it's got to come into your necessities. Understand? Yes. All right, so that all your major expenses come out of there. Now, question always comes up. What if you can't live on 55%? There you go. First answer is what? Simplify your life. Change the way you, change your habits. Change what it takes for you to be happy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look, I'm going to give you a real clue here. Like we're doing wizard training next week. It's sold out, so don't worry about that. But it's been sold out for a year. But the thing about life is so simple, is that you think it takes certain things to make you happy. Guess what? That's just your mind playing games with you. What it actually takes to make you happy is whatever you decide it takes to make you happy. You make the decision. And if you change what makes you happy, all of a sudden it can take a lot less to make you happy. You can win the money game much faster. Does that make sense? So you can simplify your life. And all you have to do is try it. Look, a lot of years ago, my mother used to cook with a lot of salt. So I heard salt was bad for you, so I stopped eating salt. Well, for the first month and a half, everything tasted like garbage. But after a while, it tasted normal, right? Because we're creatures of what? Habits, right? And then I remember 3 months after that, I had something with a bit of salt in it. I almost puked. You understand? Because you change your habit. Understand? Yes or no? It gets hard to go the other way again. So that's the first thing. Secondly, remember this. A lot of what you're using your necessities for now are going to come from different accounts now, aren't they? Your saving, your car, your college, your education. That's all coming from a different place now. So there's money managed and budgeted for that. So you won't need your necessity account for that anymore. Does that make sense? It's going to come from somewhere else now, something specific for it. Okay. Again, you're going to have to choose. Here's your choice in life. Listen closely. You either choose immediate gratification or you choose winning the money game and becoming free quickly. At every structure, that's what you're going to choose. Understand? That's what you're going to have to choose. Now, once you win the money game, now you can add gravy to it whenever you want. You can go from winning the money game at a certain level to, I'm winning the money game, but I'm winning big time now. This next one is one of my favorite accounts. What's it called? It's your play account. And we are going to put, how much? 10%. So, how much out of our $100 do we put in here? $10. Right in here. Very good. By the way, notice how much went in your FFA account? 10. How much went in your play account? Notice that they're identical. Notice how important that is. Now, if I have a choice, I'm going to take FFA, right? But most people go the other way. Your play account is for what? It's your quick cash. It's for extra clothing. It's for your toys. It's for your entertainment. It's for eating out at nice places. It's for your mini getaways. It's for getting your massage. It's that kind of thing. You want nurturing type of things. And here's the rule. The rule is simply this. All the money in this account, you have to blow it at the end of the month. You've got to wipe it out. You've got to blow it. You've got to have a great time with it. Now, it's critical that you do that. And I don't want you to spend it on little nothings. I want you to take the whole thing and buy yourself things that you normally wouldn't buy yourself. By the way, who does your play account go to? It goes to you. Now, if you have a mate that's contributing the same thing, it goes for both of you together. If you want to split that up together, you can do that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it goes for you. It's not for your kids. It's not for that. It goes to you. Listen to closely. This is the account that allows you to do this on a spiritual and inner level. You understand? We are holistic beings. What are we? Holistic. Means we're holistic. We have all sides to us. And we have the FFA, you're winning the money, your financial account. That's your logical side. Got it? But if you don't let your play account, your spirit, your inner spirit be nurtured, in the end, it will never let you continue on the logical side. It will never let their FFA account grow. And if it does let it grow, listen closely, in the end, it will take you down if you didn't take care of it. If you don't take care of your inner spirit, that's the part that will take you down later on. How many people have ever heard of people, they save all their money, they hoard all their money, and somehow they make one bad investment later on in life, they lose the whole thing. That's where your inner spirit says, enough, you're gone, you're history. You didn't take care of me, now it's your turn to suffer. So, you want to take care of all parts of you. So you want to make sure that play is handled. Have a blast. Now, also, again, your play account is for nurturing yourself. What is it? This is the part where you get to strengthen your receiving muscle. What muscle? Your receiving muscle. I said it before, we'll take care of it a little bit tomorrow, a lot tomorrow. But one of the number one reasons most people in this room are not reaching their full financial potential is that you are a bad receiver. A bad receiver. People are creatures of what? You need to habitualize yourself into being a strong receiver. Does that make sense to anybody here? One of the ways you do that is by having a play account and blowing it on receiving type of things. So you don't just go like with your play account and split it up into little menial, like nothing. You don't, let's say you have $130 in there, $150 in there. So, you go to the massage therapist and you say, okay, I want a massage. And they say how much? They say, it's $30 for 25 minutes and $60 for, you say, no, here's what I want. I want the hour-and-a-half massage with the hot rocks and the frickin' cucumbers on my eyes, all right? I want the whole thing. I want all of it. You dump the whole thing on the table. It was $150. What will you do? Now you have to be careful when you do that, okay? It could be a lot more fun than you bargained for. Now, if you have $1,000, you could be in really good shape here. Oh my God, right? Okay, so you understand what I'm saying? It's for nurturing. It's for you to feel like, oh my God, I would love to buy this, but I never have the money for it. No, this is where that money comes from now. So you go to the restaurant, you take your play money with you, and you got $150 extra there. That's your play money. And you say to the waiter, tonight we're celebrating. What? I don't know. Life. A bottle of Dom Perignon, please. You do those things. Raise your hand if that feels really funny for you. You would never do that. You'd never blow off $150. See, here's the thing. You have to now. You're forced to. It's part of the system. You have no choice. You gotta buy the best. Cool, yeah? Really cool. Now, for those of you who are just like choking right now, you are my savers and hoarders right now. They're like, oh my God. The most you're allowed to ever hold into that account is 3 months, 1 quarter, and they only do that to buy something majorly big. Okay? Like, what did we do last month? Thank God I have a pretty substantial play account. You know what? I gotta be honest with you. I can't even get rid of all this fast enough. So what I do is, again, at certain levels, you get to, when you don't need it, let's say the necessities and stuff like that, I don't need 55%. Are you kidding me of my income on necessities? I mean, it's like 10% goes in there, because I'm at a point. It used to be 50. It used to be like 99%, right? But there's no way. So what do? I keep on dumping it into here. You understand? Yeah. All right. So yeah, play account. You just got to really blow that off on something very special and amazing for yourself. All right. All right. And the last one that we're going to work with is this account right here. And again, I know this all seems really simple, and thank God that it's simple, because in the real world, simple works. Complicated what? Doesn't work. Why? Because you can't even understand the damn stuff, and it doesn't work in the real world. This works. How do we know? 40,000 people we know. Miracles. You see the emails of the out of this group, there's 600 and some people. There'll be 500 emails from you guys over the next month about the miracles that have occurred in your life. Is that good or is that good? Give somebody a high five and say, that's good. All right, again, this works on a very spiritual level. Now, the last account we're going to deal with is this one. It's called what? Giving, okay? Now, I'm going to say that for our budgets right here, we're going to put how many percent? 5%. That's $5 into here. Where does that go? Charities, giveaway, that kind of thing. Now, some of you are used to the words of 10%. Well, if you want to take away from your necessities and throw in another 5%, you're welcome to do that. But from any other account, maybe your LTSS, but I wouldn't, because you're going to challenge the parts of the system. I wouldn't do that. Anytime you can lower your necessities, you're welcome to put it into any other account. How's that? But all the other accounts have to stay, and they have to stay with the right percentages at least. Got it? If you want to put 20% of your FFA, great. Take another 10 out of here. You say, I can't do that? Well, then they'll put 20 into your FFA yet. So you want to lower your necessities and raise everything else, especially your FFA. Yes or no? Only if you want to win the money game, and quickly. Got it? Let me put it this way. This will never win you the game. This is like the referee. It's like, it's the referee in the game, right? There's like nothing there. It's like, I have to type of thing. This is where the juice is. This and this. Your LTSS, I'll tell you about my kids and how they use this in a minute here, but it's awesome, just amazing. How many of you understand what I'm saying so far? How many of you are getting pretty excited by this? Well, you just wait, you just wait, you just wait. Let's go over some details here. Your FFA account, you are going to have a jar, a what? Jar. In your home, and every month you're going to take most of the money in that jar, plus money that comes from other places, and I'll show you that in a minute. And you're going to have an investment account in the bank or in your investment company or however you do it, or it could go in directly or whatever. But there's going to be like a checking account or an investment account where you can take that money out of it and invest into your mutual funds, into your RSPs. And understand, yes or no? So you're going to take the account, you're going to work with it, but you're going to put it right in the jar. That's where you're going to keep it. Now, let's talk about your LTSS. Here, you're going to have, what kind of accounts are you going to have in the bank? Checking accounts? Why would you need checking accounts? This is going to take you a year or two to get to sometimes. Savings. You can take, this one over here is going to say Red Mustang Convertible. There you go, right there. This one over here might say Maddie and Jesse's College Fund. There you go, right there. Got it? Now, if you want to have more LTSSs, you can. Just split up that 10%. If you want to put more into there, take it. Or let's say this one over here said, well, since our kids have done this from the time they were this big, I don't have to worry about my kids' college fund. So here's another trip to Maui. For me and my wife and my kids. Yes? Good? Yes? All right. So you write it down. You have to write it right on. You write it on here, Maui. All right? And over here, you write down here, Maui, right? Right there on the account, right there. That's the money that goes for there. All right. Next. Let's see what's over here. So you've got your education fund. What kind of account do you have for that? You have your jars, fine, for cash, but you also have a what? Checking account, because you're going to use that, right? You're going to do education a lot. So checking account goes into there. Now, okay, I'm going to show you how this is going to work in a minute. Then you're going to have your play account. What's that usually? Usually that's cash. I like paying with cash for that kind of stuff. However, that's right. Because of our little unique twist on the credit card, we will also take that cash, put it into a checking account first, so we can pay for the play by credit card, then pay with Visa with the check. I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. It's kind of cool. Your necessities, that's obvious. Where does that go? Checking account, totally. And give, it can be a checking account, it can be in cash, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Okay? All right. And you're going to play with this. You're going to find out how it works for you a little bit better. Now, let me show you how this works now. First of all, let's say, for example, that you have a check that comes in. All the money has to be split up that comes in. So you have a paycheck that comes in. Let's say your paycheck has tax taken off already, okay, for this example? Now, what do you do with your paycheck? You put it where? In the bank. Where in the bank? In one of the checking accounts. Let's just say for interest purposes, we put it for right now into our necessities account. Just for right now. Because that's going to take the bulk of it right now, yes? So it's in the necessities account. And now what do? This is all what we do right at the bank. Then what do? We now take our necessities account checkbook and we now write out what? A check for 10% to our what? FFA. A check for 5% to what? LTSS. A check for another 5 to the other LTSS. A 10% to education. So we're now going to write whatever 5 checks out of this account, and we're going to deposit them into those accounts. Except for what we use in our jars for cash. We have cash too. The last check we're going to write is for cash. Right? And that's going to be for, again, to spread around here, but it's going to still stay in the same percentages. Do you understand, yes or no? Okay. So that's how this is going to go from here into a bunch of the different accounts, all the different accounts. And, of course, one of them is another one for cash, and that's the cash that you need for some of these accounts. Now, why is that important that you do it that way? Because, and you will judge how much cash you need and how much accounts you need. And by the way, the cash is critical Because you know what? You want to see yourself managing the money. When it's all hidden, it's a drag. You want to make the invisible visible, so having cash is critical. Now, let's see why we wanted to put these into checking accounts. Because, and by the way, you can do internet banking if you want and just split it up, whatever works for you. Because here's what you're going to do. The credit card statement has come in. Here it is. On it are a lot of items, yes? What you're going to do is you're going to sit down with your credit card and you are going to determine, you're going to insinuate what each of these items, what the account has to come from. So this was something that was a necessity. This was a necessity. This was education. This was a necessity. This was a necessity. Oh, this is where I rented the boat. Great. This is my play account. This is a necessity. This is where I finally bought, let's say, let's leave the LTSSL here, but give me another one here. Your charity. You put it into charity over here, and this is another play account that you did, okay? So, now what do? Y'all see this so far. We've designated what all the expenditures are for, yes? What account they're supposed to come out of. Now what do? Now you add it up. You say, okay, necessities equals X dollars, and education equals Y dollars, and play equals P dollars, and charity equals Q dollars, all right? Now, so you added all those up, and now what do? The Visa card comes with an envelope, right? Now what are you going to do? You are going to write however many checks necessary from each of these accounts. Let's say in this case 4 checks, and you're going to put 4 checks in with the statement. Are you allowed to do that? Yes, you are. Totally. In fact, I've been doing that for 15 years. 4 checks. Why? Because you don't want to mix up goalies and forwards ever. You understand? You've got to keep the things separate, so it's separate and so it's managed properly. So Visa gets 4 checks. They get your play account, and now you can keep everything in your bank accounts nice and straight. Does that make sense? Yes or no? How simple is this? But does it work actually in the real world? Totally works. Totally works. You have a question over here? Okay, here she is again. You have that many checking accounts, you have service charges. Right. So either get a new bank or don't worry about $4 to manage your life. How much does it cost you? You have 4 accounts, how many checks you got? If it's all on one Visa, right, you're only going to write 4 checks a month. That's going to cost you, what, $4? Let's not focus on the $4. Let's focus on winning the game. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You have to do that in order to win the game. Just the cost of winning the game. $4 is not a lot. So I understand what you're saying here. And if you have any money and you can put money into those accounts, I know I don't pay anything for my checking accounts. So in your bank, if you have any money, shh, what's that? That's right. Because I have another account, there's a lot of money, and I say, look, you have a choice. You charge me and I take all my money somewhere else, or I leave my money here and you don't charge me. No problem. You can have your $4, Mr. Eker, okay? So you can negotiate with them. That's a very good point. Thank you. Because again, it's a mentality. Your mentality is to play forward here, is to win the game. Got it? So you got to be going for winning the game. And managing your money is the critical part of winning the game. How do we know? Because we know that's how most millionaires have it and hold it and keep it. By managing the game, that's how the game is won. Do not let the simplicity of this system with the jars and everything fool you. This is a miraculous system. I'm going to explain why in a little bit. I'm going to say this. It is a miraculous system. The minute you get on this, look me in the eye, everything will change for you. If you're rich, you'll be wealthy. If you're broke, you'll finally start to see the light and begin to become a money magnet. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Do not let the simplicity of this fool you. That's why it works. Okay, now, I want a special point here. Raise your hand if you own a business. Very good. Now, raise your hand if you own a business on a full-time basis. All right, now listen closely. This is a special point for business owners. How many of you find it difficult to manage your personal finances because your personal finances are tied in with your business finances? Does That's usual. So your money management system is this. Take what you need when you need it. Right? That is a big mistake. Your business must be a separate entity. Must be a what? A separate entity. And the easiest way to do this is to write yourself a consistent paycheck twice a month. The amount depends on how much you bring in, but it must be consistent. Must be what? So here's the way most people do it. They've got, for example, their business, and the money goes to them, right? And then what happens is what? Yeah, then they generally what? Spend that money from the business, right? Now, here's what I want you to do instead. I want you to do this. Your business goes to, you write a paycheck. A what? A paycheck. Your paycheck then goes into your what? Accounts. Your accounts in jars. Understand? Your accounts in jars. Then what happens? And then, of course, what have you done? You have now managed your money. And the managed money. So the difference is you've got to get the key, the secret, the key to the financial universe is managing your money. What is it? I'm going to harp on this so big on you until it comes out of your frickin' ears. Understand? Because everyone thinks the key is making a lot of money, and it's not. I'm going to explain this to you. We were all taught bogus information. It's about managing your money. And if your business is just, take here and spend it, you're not managing it. Now, again, this is personal money here. You're managing your personal. We are not at this level going to use the jars in the account for your business. However, once you do this for personally, you watch how elegantly, with just a few small shifts in the percentages, this works in your business. You watch what happens. But first, go personal. So, how much do you take as a paycheck out of your business? It doesn't matter. I don't care. Start with something. All I want you to do is manage your money. Get the jars, get the accounts, start with something. Okay? So here's what you're going to do. Let's say you don't make a ton of money. So you'll start with twice a month, you'll pay yourself $50. And then you'll put them into the accounts. Understand? In the same percentages. And by the way, isn't it true that sometimes your business pays for certain things, yes or no? So now you don't have to use as much out of your percentages. Same percentage, but you don't need as much. Let's say you do pretty well in your business. Then you write yourself a check for maybe $2,000 every 2 weeks, right? Whatever it is. I'll let you know right now, when I started my fitness retail store, when I began right away doing this, even though I had no money for the first 6 months, we had no profits coming in, we had revenue coming in, I still paid myself, listen closely, $100 every 2 weeks. I was married and I had a child. We let the business pay for as much as possible, and we scrimped and saved, okay? $100 every 2 weeks. That's not a lot of money to live on, understand? I had a lot of lettuce. We got a deal on lettuce. 6 months later, I was paying myself $1,000 every 2 weeks. That's a lot better, right? 1 year later, $5,000 every 2 weeks. And I don't even want to tell you what it's like now. Okay, so it's about paying yourself a paycheck, a consistent paycheck. So if you say, hey, what if my business is always up and down? What did I just say? What's the key word? So if your business is up and down, you write a consistent paycheck every time. Now, if you have more money extra, doesn't mean you have to blow it all off, right? So it'll all equal out in the end. Okay, so raise your hand again if you're a business owner. What are you going to start doing immediately? Write yourself a what? Every what? Every 2 weeks. I don't care what it is and what it's for. Later when you do better, you can give yourself a raise. Okay? But you start immediately. When do you start? What if your business isn't making a lot of money? It doesn't matter. Write yourself a check for $1 then, okay? That's all I want to see. Is when you start doing this, you start seeing what happens to you. Okay, next. I get a lot of questions here is, how do you handle the money management between couples and with kids? Anybody interested? All right. First, let's talk about couples. There's a couple ways to do this. The first one is Some people, they separate all their money. In other words, I earn what I earn, that's my money. You earn what you earn, that's your money. You can do that. That's not a problem. And then you know how they say, we're going to pay equal amounts for rent. And you go, yes, you can do that. If you do that, then each of you has your own what? Jars and accounts. Got it? Each of you. That's it. Now, the other way is to not separate your money, is to pool all your money. What's the word? Pool. How many people realize that that's the way that they've been doing it? Hey? Many couples do it like that. Pooling all your money. Now, most people do it like that. Now, here's the secret. If you pool all your money, this is a rule. It's a what? Rule. You have to make sure you decide on a certain amount that each individual will take off the top before you start splitting the accounts. I'll show you what I mean. So one of you makes, after taxes, $2,000 in the month. And the other of you, after taxes, makes $4,000 in the month. How much do you make in the month between you, pooled money? $6,000. Now, this is after taxes. Now the first thing you're going to do before you split the money is you're going to agree on how much each of you takes on a personal level. So let's say most of your stuff you do together, so you don't need that much on a personal level. So you're going to agree to take $500 each. How much? 500. And that goes personally. Personal. Now, then how much is left? $5,000 is left. And now what do you do with the $5,000? You manage it. You put it into your 6 accounts. You got it? Yes or no? Now, why is it absolutely critical you take off personal individual money first off a pooled situation? Thank you. Excellent. Because there is nothing worse than having to ask or beg your partner for money. Nothing could be worse. It belittles you. It disempowers you. You feel like a schmuck. Yes or yes? And listen to those of you who are making the more money or something like that, and you've got it set up where your partner has to ask you for money, you think you've got them under control. Holy moly. When the stuff hits the fan, man, is it going to hit. The resentment that is being built up, you have no idea about. None. Trust me on this. Don't believe a word I say, but trust me on this. Don't even think of doing that. Don't make anybody ask you for their pennies, for their dollars. You've got to make sure, by the way, if you notice, even though this person makes less than this person, when it comes to individual, how much do they get? The same amount. Yeah, but I make a lot more. Then don't pool your money. If you want to pool it, pool it. If you don't, don't. Now, once you have your $500 out, let's say this is me. I've got my $500 out, right? This is my money. My partner gets to say what about that money? Not a thing. What do they get to say about my money? Nothing. Zero. Am I allowed to have jars? Totally. In fact, what I'm going to do I need a necessities account? No, because that's taken care of with both of our money, the pooled money, right? So I'm going to make sure I got my education account, my LTSS, my financial freedom, and my play account. So here's what I'm going to do. Now listen closely so you don't get confused. Now I only need 4 accounts for my personal, yes? Because I have a whole other set of jars for our pooled money. So this is a whole set of jars. That's already taken care of, right? Now I'm also, if I want to, and you're not forced to do this, but if you want to, this is what we do, you can now, this is me over here, I have 4 accounts. I have my FFA account, my own, my LTSS for my kayak, which my wife does not want to be buying. This is for my kayak. My education for going to investment or personal development courses in Los Angeles, where she thinks I shouldn't be doing, or whatever. It doesn't matter what she thinks. This is my money. And my play account to whatever I like. Now, we still have all of the accounts separate to this together, and in the play account, we do things together, right? Or we say, 1 month I'll take it, 1 month you take it. But not on this one. On my own account, on my 4, nobody tells me what to do. Got it, yes or no? How many of y'all think that's a good idea? Now, here's the thing. If you can afford more for each of you, do more. Less, less. This can be $50 a month, $500 a month, $5,000 a month. And then the rest of it's pooled to make sure you have that all handled, all your 6 accounts. So, in fact, in my house, I have 4 jars. My wife has 4 jars. My kids actually have 4 jars, each of them. And pooled between my wife and I, we have 6 jars, or accounts. You say, that's a lot of accounts. Oh, yeah, so what? And so what? What's your point? So, yeah, on a football team, there's 11 players. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of players. Yeah, so what? That's how you play the game. In a hockey game, there's 6 players. Yes or no? You want to play with 1? See what happens. You want to put 1 player on the ice? See what happens to your game. It needs 6 players to play. Understand? That's the game. You want to win the game? You play with 6 players. You want to lose the game? Play with less. Simple? It's up to you. I'm showing you a way that actually wins. All right. What do you do if there's only one income? One of you makes $6,000 and the other person makes nothing. What do you do if you have a pooled situation? Exactly the same. Don't you dare, the one who's making the money, don't you dare say, because I'm making it, I get more, you get less. You are in for serious doo-doo if you do that. You know what? In the end, it'll come back to haunt you. Trust me on this. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever, yes or no? Don't you dare. You want to make sure everybody's happy? You say the same amount, and then you pool it. All right. Let's talk about kids for a second here. Raise your hand if you have kids. Raise your hand if you have fairly young kids. So under high school or less, or even college, living with you. Raise your hand if you have kids living with you whatsoever. Good. All right. The key for the kids, as it is for you, is to get them into the habit. Into the what? Habit. Into the habit. Kids learn by what? By example, by modeling. And they will do this automatically if you're doing it and you show them how to do it. By the way, if you're doing it, I guarantee, as sure as I'm standing here, your kids will ask you what you're doing. When these jars are out there, they go, what's that? They will love it. In fact, I guarantee this. They'll probably be better at it than you are. They'll be more disciplined, they'll be more excited, and they'll do the jars even if you don't. All right? This is my experience with kids. So, necessities are usually met for them. They don't have to buy necessities, right? So they don't need a necessities account. But they do need all of the other accounts, the 5 accounts here, including the giving. So they also sometimes have more than one LTSS account. Let me show you something. So what money goes into there for kids? Allowance, yes? And gifts, every money, all the money they get goes into the jars. It's split. Understand? Yes or no? So let's say they get a $10 gift. What happens? Boom, 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 boom. Yes? Right, it's into the 5 here. Now, so they can save for college. My daughter right now is saving for a car, right? And for college. That's what she uses. And now she hasn't been purchasing seminars yet, but she does purchase books and tapes and things like that. So she does have an education account. Plus she gets a discount on seminars. Anyways. But not a big one. It's getting more. All right. So my son, for example, he just bought a Sony PlayStation with his money, right? And he buys CDs and all that. And this is what he does. Play money with his CDs, and he goes out with their friends, whatever. And they both have gotten big time in their FFA. Now, listen closely. See this package right here of checkbooks and accounts, yes or no? You know what I see? You have never seen anything like this in your life when my kids go to the bank. When my kids go to the bank, the whole bank stops. I'm not kidding you. Customers, tellers, everyone. Bank manager, every month, he's out there shaking their hand, right? The whole bank stops to watch how they do their banking. They both walk in like this, and they lay it down over here. The tellers already know them. Jesse, you're only $80 away from your bike. You know, they can see, because they not only have what it's for, they have the amount they need to save on it. Right? So they know what it's for exactly. And the minute he gets that $80, he's been checking out that bike for 6 months. Right? And you think he's anxious? Totally. And he's watching himself build the money. Do you think he's willing to save that money? Yes or no? Totally. Right? So sure. So they walk in, they do all their banking just like this. You know what? When my wife takes the kids to the bank, you know how we have our tickets for our evening events? She takes a wad of tickets this big. Because everyone walks up, where did they learn how to do this? And, of course, she says, at a seminar. Here's tickets, right? That's why they do it, actually, you know. My kids have been doing this since they were 3 and 4.5 years old. 3 and 4.5. And I'll tell you right now, not because we give them any extra money. If your kids do this, I guarantee this, your children will never have a financial problem in their whole life. Never. It can't happen. It won't happen. Now, I don't want to confuse you, but there's levels to this. So my kids have been doing this for a long time, understand? And they're good at it. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. So here's what we do with our kids. For the last 2 years, and I'm not suggesting you do this unless your kids are stronger at this. What happens is that people need to understand that they need to learn how to manage money. Yes or no? And as young adults and kids, most of us learned how to do this skill, this ability. Yes or no? We didn't learn how to do it. So what happens is we get to be a certain age, like 20, 21, 25, and we don't know what to do. And we have really poor habits. So here's what we've done. Not only have we ingrained our kids in these habits, but listen to this. We actually now have figured out how much money we spend on each kid per year, for the whole year, for everything. For their lessons and for their football and for their concerts and for their clothing and for their shoes and for everything, right? The only thing is that the only thing we don't include is like prescription drugs and things like that. Everything. So we figured out it worked out to approximately $6,000 a year on clothing and things like that, right? So here's what we do. We actually give them each a check for $500 a month at the beginning of each month. They have to manage that $500. If they don't manage it properly, they have a problem, not us. You understand? This way, they learn how to manage their money properly. Now, for the first time, my son's 14 and a half. This is his first year at it. It's my daughter's third year at it. She's a whiz, just totally a whiz. She's a saver. She knows how to invest, the whole thing, right? He was having a little trouble. You know where his big problem came in? In lending his friends money, because he was the only kid who had any. Not that their parents don't give them money, but whenever parents give the kid money, the kid does what with it? He blows it, which is learns the habit of what? I get money, I blow the money, right? That's it. My kid has jars. They know exactly what to do with their money. His problem came in lending money to people who didn't pay him back. So we had a discussion about that, and now and I told him about correction is natural, and it's a normal thing to make errors, and now you see where you have to make the correction, so now you go in and make the correction. But he was feeling really, really bad because he couldn't. Why? He wouldn't feel bad about it if something didn't pain him, did he? So he went to buy a pair of shoes for camp. They're leaving for camp. They're actually leaving tomorrow in Ontario. And he went to buy a pair of running shoes. Well, he wanted a pair of running shoes that was $180. Guess how much money he had? $60. Guess where the rest of it was? With his friends who hadn't paid him back. Now he felt bad. Now he learned his lesson. Did we give him the money? No. You buy a $60 pair of running shoes. Now you learn how to ask for your money back. Good or good? That's the way it goes. They have extra money, they do what they want with it, but they all have the jars. And they are elegant at it. My blessing for you is you should be as good as my children at this. That's my blessing to you. If that could happen for you, you will be a blessed human being. Fair enough? How many of you are getting what I'm talking about? How many are getting it loud and clear? How many are finding this is actually, there's a few things I have to work on a little bit, but this is actually easy. How many of you realize the power of separating your money? Have you recognized the power of managing your money properly? Look, again, for most of us, we were not taught how to do this game. We were not taught how to play the game to win. That's what we're doing here tonight. A lot of you do okay, but you're not reaching your full potential. And you're not mostly because of some of the inner obstacles that you've got that we are definitely clearing out this weekend, and the information that you did or didn't get about how to handle money. When you handle it properly, everything will change. I guarantee you that. Now, let's talk about the FFA account. Because a lot of people ask me, oh yeah, okay, I have money in here. What do I do with the darn stuff? You know, do I get 2% on it? What do I do with this stuff? So, we have a very, very unusual program happening called Millionaire School in the fall. And it deals specifically with what do you do with money? How do you get major percentages for it? Right now, let's just take some generalities. Your FFA account, let's keep it real simple. This is just the money in your financial freedom account. This means high risk, moderate risk, low risk investments. Got it? This means low risk person, moderate risk person. All right. So let's start with a low risk person. What percentage of your FFA money is going to go into high risk investments? How much percent? If you're a low risk person, 10%. 10% is going to go into high risk investments. High risk investments are things that could return, seed capital, this, that, 100%, 400%, 800%, lots and lots. That's high risk stuff. Okay, it's kind of like rolling the penny stocks. Even a lot of stocks today are high risk. What percentage is going to go into moderate risk? 20%. Give me an example of moderate risk investments. I'll say right now, any stock is a moderate risk. Blue chip, definitely moderate risk. There's no such thing as a low risk stock right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense, yes or no? You have no idea what's going to happen to the stock market. It's like, the stock market to me is great. It's like sophisticated Las Vegas. That's it. That's all it is. It's got this big, highfalutin exterior, but it's gambling, and it's gambling at its worst. That's what the stock market is. It's fine and it's great, but it's gambling. That's all. Don't think of anything less. There's no sure thing on there. Okay, so mutual funds, high risk or low risk? Moderate risk, totally. There's mutual funds last year that lost 20%. A lot of people have been totally burnt by their mutual funds. And there's ones that are making 20%. So they're moderate risk. Okay? Definitely, they're not low risk. Give me an example of low risk. GICs, money market. Bonds, low risk? Low risk. Sure they are. Low risk bonds are. I haven't seen too many people who have lost money on bonds. So low risk. I'm not talking about junk bonds, obviously. But, you judge for yourself here. But I'm just saying, so 70% in low risk stuff. So here's the thing. One of the things is to grow this, but the other thing that's more important than growing it is making sure you keep it. Understand? Remember, this is how you win the money game. You got to make sure you keep it. And you want to grow too. So it's got to be a balance, yes? So we're showing you how to balance. Let's say you're more of a moderate risk taker. You're younger, or you're a moderate risk, or you have no money anyway, so you might as well go for it. You know what I'm saying? So what do? How much do you invest in high risk investments? What percent? 20%. In moderate risk investments, what percent? 30. And in low risk investments, what percent? 50%. Good. Now, let's say you're a high risk person. What do? You're not a high risk person. We don't play with you. You don't play. There's no high risk. Understand? Not with this. If you've handled this and you want another jar, your LTSS, and you put gambling, no problem. Then you go for high risk stuff, other than what we've got here. Understand? Let's say you want to put a bunch of money into seed capital for something that might go onto the stock market in 2 years. And you've already covered, either one of these two percentages with your money. You have no money for that. What do? Save up for it and put it in there. You can't use this for it anymore if you've already taken those percentages. Understand, yes or no? There's no big gambling done with this. Like if you have 10,000 in here and you are a moderate risk person, you're allowed to put 2,000 into that thing, sure. But if your 2,000 already taken, you can't put that in there. Understand? Got it? Look, I don't want anybody crying to me 20 years from now go, it was a sure thing. I lost it all. No, it's not going to happen. Okay. In general, while your FFA is growing, while it's being built, your goose is being built, how much money can you draw out of here? None. Okay, what if it's already sending money out? Like, let's say it's in a second mortgage and you get monthly payments of $500 a month of pure interest. Can you spend that? No. Put it back inside until you're financially free. That's how you win the money game faster. So all your money that you made from it, put it back in and let it grow bigger. Look, the goal is to have a big fat goose and lots of little geese feeding it. Okay? So big fat goose, you want to reinvest that money. When you're financially free, then you're allowed to eat the eggs, the interest. Then you're allowed to spend that. Okay, that's what you're going to live on. Got it? Or the equity offshoot of that. Okay. Are you guys with me so far? Yes? Okay, good. This understanding is critical. I'm gonna hone it into you so that you're never going to feel the same way about money. Here's a secret. Anyone, what's the word? Anyone can win the money game. Anyone, what's the word? Anyone can be financially free. The key is what? How you manage your money. The 5 elements in the financial freedom formula, remember those 5 wheels on the bus? They are interdependent. They work together. Most people in our society have what I call a job mentality, which means they focus on one wheel 90% of their energy, effort, and time. What's the wheel they focus on? Working income, yes? Their whole life revolves around working income. That one wheel. Now, what I want to suggest to you is that what you earn, your earnings, are not the whole story whatsoever. Get this. Please get this in your soul, in every cell of your body. A person with a very huge income but falters on the money management side will never win the game. They will never be free. But a person with a smaller income, but they're good on the money management side, is virtually assured to win the game. Because it's not about the working income. It's about the 5 wheels on the bus. You can have a massive income, but if you don't have the other 4 wheels going, you ain't going nowhere. I know people who earn $800,000 a year, and I'll swear they will never be free. Because they don't understand the rest of it. They understand it or they don't work it. And I know people who earn $30,000 a year, and I've told you one of our own students, and they're free already. Because it's about what? How you manage the money you've got. Okay. So to win the money game, you have to play the game, the whole game, not a fifth of the game. And this money management system will take care of and cover all 5 elements. Do you understand that? If you just do this system, everything will be okay. You're not sure that? I just have a recent, from the last course we were at, this is a cute little email that came. Dear Harv and staff, we started our jars at 1:30 a.m. the minute we arrived home from the Millionaire Mind Intensive weekend. After years of having money control us, we now understand what it's like to control money. Awesome. We are having a blast. Paying the bills this month was the first time in 32 years that we weren't at each other's throats. We had such fun paying bills. Having a play account has been a mind-blowing experience for us. We still don't really know what to do with all that money. We have never allowed ourselves to play. On Tuesday, going to the movies, we felt like 2 giggly teenagers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good or good? Okay. When you begin to control money in this fashion, the confidence of your entire life will change. Because the one thing that you're so adamantly trying to achieve, you'll start to see it progress quickly. And again, it's not, what's my greater income? Did I get a raise? That's meaningless in the scope of this. You may or may not be able to control your raise, but you can definitely control this. Understand, yes or no? And if you will do this, you will be free. And if you don't do this, chances are really good, you'll never be free. How simple is that? All right. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Another reason as to why you might not be reaching your full financial potential, I want you to rate yourself again, 1 to 10, as to whether you have a set money management structure similar to this in place and are using it consistently. 1 to 10. Put money management structure. Rate yourself 1 through 10 as to whether you have one in place and are using it consistently and whether it looks very similar to this. If you only have 1 or 2 of the jars, it doesn't count. No. You give yourself a 2. Go ahead, write the words money management system down and rate yourself 1 to 10. You got to be writing it. You have to make the invisible visible. Let me see you write that right now, please. How many of you have some improvements to make here? Yes? Good. Some people laugh and say, I don't have any money to manage. Ha 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 ha. Listen, here's the rule. It says this. It's not when I have plenty of money, I'll begin to manage it. It's when I begin to manage it, I'll have plenty of money. Saying that I'll start managing my money as soon as I get caught up is like an overweight person saying, I'll start exercising and dieting as soon as I lose 20 pounds. So I mentioned this in some of your evening previews. But this is one of the most critical stories you can ever learn and remember in your whole life. Listen closely. Imagine right now that you are walking down the street with a 3-year-old child. How old? 3. And you come across an ice cream store and the kid wants an ice cream, so you walk inside with the ice cream store. And they don't have cups, they only have cones, and they have the hard ice cream. And so you get them a single scoop of ice cream. And they have very, very small hands, and they're kind of wobbly with it already. And they walk out the door, and sure enough, the ice cream on the top of the scoop, on top of the cone, falls off and gets on the ground. The kid starts to cry, and they want to go, and they go back in the store with them, of course, and you're just about going to order them another scoop, and they see a sign that shows the triple scooper. The picture, right? And in their little baby voice, they go, I want the triple scoop. Now, being the wonderful, caring, kind person that you are, do you go ahead and get them the triple scooper? No. Why not? Because they couldn't even handle what they had. They couldn't handle the single scoop. Why would you want to create them to fail like that? Let me explain something to you. We live in a very loving universe. The universe is here to support you. And the universal principle of management says this. Until you show you can handle what you've got, you won't get any more. If you're not handling a quarter of 1 scoop, why on earth do you think the universe is going to send you 10 scoops? Do you get it, yes or no? Yes. I hope you got that in the cells of your bones. The universe is a supportive universe. And until you handle what you've got properly, you won't get any more. Why? Because you don't need any more. This is a universal principle. Look, I didn't make up the universe. I only live by its rules. And as a warrior and as a wizard, when you can understand the rules and live through them and be in alignment with the universe's rules instead of your rules, everything will change very quickly. You understand that? Yeah. Very simple. So, you have to acquire the skills and habits of managing a small amount of money before you can have a large amount of money. And the key is to start your money management account when? Split up a frickin' dollar if you have to. But split it up and start to manage that dollar. Do you get it? Yes or no? Yes. I don't care if you're $1 million in debt. Get $1 and split it up. Michelle, are you in the room? Can you give Michelle a mic for a second here? This is Michelle Burr. She's our marketing director. And she started by coming to this seminar. She wasn't working with us at the time. What was the scoop with you, if you don't mind sharing, if you don't mind?
Sure. It was about 2 years ago, and I was at the point where I was just about to claim bankruptcy, and I just did not want to do that. And I came to the seminar, and I discovered the jars, and I said, this is the way out. This is how I'm going to do it. So I didn't have any money, so I said, okay, I'm going to take $1 a month, and I'm going to split that up in the jars. So I had 10 cents in my FFA, and I had 10 cents in my play jar, and the rest was split up. And I was thinking, what am I going to do with 10 cents in my play jar? How do you play with that? So I went to the store and I bought some double bubble, and I chewed it and blew up the bubble and read the cartoon and had a good time. Anyways.
Doesn't take much for her. Anyways.
I won't go there. Anyways. So then I said, okay, well, how am I going to get, closer to freedom? And I said, I'll double that dollar every month. So I took the dollar, and then next month I split up $2, and the month after $4, and then 8, 16, 32, and you can see how it adds up. So it took me a full year before I was actually at those exact percentages that Harv's talking about, where your necessity is 55. And so now it's been 2 years, and just last March, I deposited a huge amount into my FFA. Is it all right if I say?
Tell them how much you put in.
I put in $10,000 in March.
That's 1 month.
In 1 month. And then even since March, I've doubled that and invested all that. And then, I'd say now, I feel so empowered, and it's just, there's no feeling like when you have it handled, and just the habit and having your money handled is amazing. I have no doubt that in the next few years I'll have a net worth of over $1 million. No doubt.
And win the money game. Okay, give her a big round of applause. Very good. See, thanks, Michelle. Thanks for sharing. The other thing that's so empowering here is, like, when you do this, you know you're going to be free, right? Because you've got that handle. This is for that. As long as you do it, you know you'll be free. There's not a question anymore. Will I make it? Will I ever be free? What will happen? You take those questions out. It's like my son. My son was with my wife, and she wanted to get that green alligator purse, okay? And she has her jars and all that, but she has a harder time than some with the jars, okay? So, I'm being very polite here, all right? But she still does them, but So she sees a purse, and so she says to my son, she says, "Oh God, I'm dying for that purse. I've seen it 3 times. I want to get it. I'm going to get it right now." And he says to her, "Mom, have you saved for that?" And she goes, "No, I'll just put it on the credit card." He says, "I know, but is that money in your account now for that purse?" She goes, "No, but I'll take it from whatever." He goes, "Mom, if you want that purse, you have to save for it in your LTSS account. Why don't you get a jar and put, the green alligator purse on it?" And of course, she can't be a bad example. She's going, "You're right, you're right, you're right." And she's like dying, right? And she goes home, and sure enough, I see in the bedroom, there's her green alligator purse on the LTSS. It took her 4 months. She got her purse. But she felt, when she got her purse, she said, "I feel so good about this purse." And here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing. Anything you really want, you're going to have with your LTSS. Like those things you really wanted. You wanted to have the certain car one day. Okay, it might take a little while, but you got to get it. You're going to get it. There's no more question. My son wanted a Sony PlayStation. For a kid who only makes $5 a month, that could take a long time. Okay? But he wanted it, right? And he put a jar, and it took him a year, and he finally got it. He got gifts and everything, put it together, and he finally got it. Once it says Sony PlayStation, it's yours. It might take a little time, but it's yours. There's no more questions here. Do you get it, yes or no? Yes. You're going to win the money game, and you're going to have everything you want simply by having your money do its job. Put your hand on your chest. Everyone may be standing here. This is a critical one. Hand on your chest. Say this with me. The habit of managing my money is more important than the amount. The habit of managing my money is more important than the amount. Again, please.
The habit of managing my money is more important than the amount.
One more time, twice as loud.
The habit of managing my money is more important than the amount.
Now again, you have a millionaire mind. All right. This is wealth rule number 1. Now listen closely. I have a saying that says this. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. Let me hear you say that, please. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. Wealth rule number 1 is the oldest rule in the book. It works like crazy, yet hardly anybody uses it. And all it simply says is what? Financial freedom what? And the one other way you can do it for you, you'll understand is FFA what? First. Any money that comes in, the first split, of course, is after tax, right? It's our money. The first split goes to what account? FFA. What if you don't have enough to pay for your mortgage? Well, I guess the mortgager is going to have to wait, won't he? What if you don't have enough to eat? I guess you're going to get skinny this month. What if you don't have enough to pay for your car? Call up the finance company, say, I'll pay you on the 14th when I get paid again. Why? Because what's got to go first? Winning the money game comes first. Not second, not third, first. Got it? Yes or no? That's the only way you can be assured of winning the game. Yes? Because all the rest of the stuff is very interesting, but it's not winning the game. This is winning the game. Right? Scoring goals goes first. Financial freedom account first. FFA first. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. So each time you are paid, each time you get any amount of money, the first check goes to pay your what? Your FFA account before anything else. Most people don't do it that way. Most people use a strategy called the leftover strategy. They buy everything that they need, and then they save what's left over. Got it? What is the problem with that little strategy? Yeah, there's never anything left over. So you end up never winning the game. Now, so that's why one of the best ways to do this, to be sure that you pay yourself first, is what I'm going to call a forced savings or investment plan. What does that mean? Who can tell me? It comes off automatically and goes directly into your certain account, your FFA account. So if you are fortunate enough to have that going for you right now, that is the best. It's great. Because why? Because you don't want to be involved in this game as much as possible. You want to be systemized, not thinking about it. I'm going to harp on you on that this whole weekend too. Let me just say this. Who you are, your habits, and your methodology and what you think is a good strategy has gotten you exactly where you are. For some of you, that's great, but it could be enhanced. For others of you, you're going, uh-oh. What that means is this. We don't want what you know involved. We don't want what you think is right involved. We only want what works involved. Boop, 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 boop. That's it. Okay? Got it? Yes or no? What you think is the right thing to do, forget about it. We're working on this way. If you don't think this is the right thing to do and you're broke, let's let go of the thing that's got you broke and let's just work on what works. Let's try this for 1 year. How about trying it for 1 month and watch the miracles? Fair enough? You can do that for yourself, can't you? Even if you say, that'll never work. Fine. Say it all you want. Just do it for a month. And you will change your mind very quickly. Because everything will change for you. Okay, so FFA first. So, this is another reason why you might not be reaching your full financial potential right now. Rate yourself 1 to 10 as to whether on every single dollar that comes in, the first 10% at least goes to your financial freedom account right now. 1 to 10. On every single dollar that comes in, the first 10% at least goes to your freedom account. Go ahead, write that. Rate yourself 1 to 10 here. Put FFA first, rate yourself 1 to 10. You got to be doing this. You got to see it for yourself. Good. How many of you can use a little bit of improvement on this one? Yes or no? Very good. Good. Does anybody know what this is? It's a magnet, and it's really obvious, isn't it? That's like the best one ever. Ever. They know. Look, these are almost the same. Can you see that? Usually, like, this is like cross. It's like, no one's really ever been able to guess what it was before. So, all right. How many people have heard this saying? It's called the law of attraction. The law of what? Like attracts, money attracts. Your FFA account acts like a what? A magnet. The more in, the more it attracts. So the key is to get started. What's the word? On building your money magnet. By the way, how many of you have noticed that? People have money, get more money. What's the saying that says this? To he who hath, more shall be given. Yes or no? Isn't that a weird one compared to all these other people? To he who hath, more shall be given. Right? Because like attracts like. It's the laws of the universe here. So the key is to get started building your money magnet, building your habit. So here's the thing. Out of habit, out of what? I recommend, see, again, what you put your attention on is what grows. Where attention goes, energy flows and results show. If you're cucking around with debt, your whole life will be around debt. You understand? What a drag. You can't win the game like that. So I want as much of your attention going into an arena called what? Financial freedom, winning the money game. Got it? Yes? And the other ones are to support that. And so I want you to build a habit of focusing your attention on your FFA. So how do we do that? We build the magnet big and strong, and we put attention on it. So what do we do? We do this. I recommend putting a little bit of money at least into that FFA jar every single day. Every day. And you say, well, what money? I don't get paid every day. Aha. That's one of the great things. I spent the last 11 years in San Diego. I moved up here about 3.5 years ago into West Vancouver. And now when I came up here again, one of the things I absolutely hated about here was that when you walked around and if you did pay for anything in cash, you ended up with a pants load of these big coins. Okay? It's brutal, right? Loonies and toonies, and you got like, and you know, you started off the day, you know, weighing 160 pounds. You ended up with 180 pounds. Your back's killing you from the pant load of coins you've got. So I used to think that was a drag, but then I learned how to be a wizard, and I learned about the principle of utilization. Principle of what? So utilize what you got. So that's the best thing about this whole country now, is these frickin' coins. And instead of pennies and dimes and quarters like in the States, they got nothing. We get the big stuff. You got ones and twos, and you know, you can come home with, when I come home, I empty out my pocket, I got like $20 sitting there, right? In coins. You can never do that in the States. They couldn't fit it in you. $20. What do I do with it? Boom, right into my FFA. Every day I empty my coins. You know what? Before I was on this system, I used to take all my coins and give it to my kids when I was in the States because it was petty cash. Here, it's serious money. There's no way they're getting those coins. Not a chance. When I started doing that here for the first couple of months, going, there's like $800 in there. I'm not giving that to him. He's got his own money, right? He said, you know, it'd be in the States, it'll be like 6 months. They might, pile it all up. There might be $50 a piece. Now it's like tons of money, big jars. Forget about it. So that goes into my FFA account, right, to build my magnet. So every single day, you at least take your change. What if you don't have change that day? Go get $1, put it in. What if you don't have $1? Get a penny and put it in. I don't care. I only want you to build a frickin' habit. Got it? Yes or no? Yes. And the habit puts your attention. What you focus on expands in your life. Yes? Say that with me. What I focus on expands. One more time. What I focus on expands. If you put money in here every day, will you be focusing on it? Yes or no? Yes. What will expand? What account? Or you can fool around with your debt accounts. Which one do you want to expand? Look, you either play with the universe or against it. It's got very specific laws. Most people don't know those laws. That's why we have our other programs. But when you get in line with those laws, life becomes easy. What you focus on expands. Yes or yes? Yes. Okay, good. So that's why I definitely recommend you have the jars at home for, a lot of them take cash, right? And definitely have this jar at home. You have to have at least this one. Well, everyone has to have all of them because you got to see the visual aspect of it and then have your checkbook inside it too. So, and then at the end of the month, you take a good portion of this money and you take it to the bank, right? And you put that into your investment account. You write that check to, and that goes into your FFA account, like whether it's a stock or whether it's mutual funds or whether it's GICs, whatever you're investing in, that's when you do that. Understand? So in other words, what I'm saying is you don't have to leave thousands of dollars in your jar. At the same time, when you take it out every month, I want you to make sure you never empty it completely. Okay? Always leave a little something in here. Why? A, so you can see the progress, and B, because of what? You don't want to kill your magnet. Got it? At least the one that you can see. You want to see a visual magnet, and of course you got your account magnets. But you have to be able to see it. So, let me ask you this question. Are you willing to begin to build your magnet now, or start to up your contribution to your financial freedom fund, to put more attention on that fund in your life? Yes or no? Yes. How many are willing to do that? Yes. You know what? At Peak Potential, the way I work is everything is ingrained physically. It's got to be, talk is really what? Cheap. You know, that's my favorite saying. So, do you recall that I asked you in your letter to bring a check? Pull it out. If you don't have a check, then take out a piece of paper and write the words I owe you on it. Our goal is to build this account as quickly as possible, so write your name as the payee on this account, or your name as the IOU. Put your name. So the check is to, here, T. Harv Eker, or whatever your name. Don't put it to me. No, that's if it was my check. Let's say you're Joe Smith. Joe Smith. As the name on the IOU, same thing, Joe Smith. Now, this check is going into your FFA magnet to start to build a magnet. Remember, the more you put in there, the stronger the magnet. Say that with me. The more I put in there, the stronger the magnet. Stronger the magnet, the more money it attracts to you. Do you understand? To he who hath, more shall be given. You got to start hathing. You got it? Look, if you've got 500,000 in your magnet, you're going to have a certain rate of money coming to you. When you have 2 million in your magnet, you can pretty well guarantee it will be double or triple the rate of money that comes to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have $10 in here, there's going to be a rate that the money comes to you in your life. If you have $1,000, it'll come a lot faster. 10,000 even faster. If you have $1 million in here, it starts flooding in. Do you understand that? That's why money begets money. To he who hath, more shall be given. And I'm not a Bible person, and I'm just telling you the way it is from my experience. It's a magnet. The more you have, the stronger the magnet, the faster it comes. That's why this is the logical side. This is the system side. But there's spiritual principles in the development of all this. Do you understand what I'm saying here? That are at work. And you need to follow those principles, and they're all ingrained. So, how much do you write the check for? Whatever you want. If you have no money, write it for 10 cents. If you have a lot of money and you want to up your contribution, you say, you know what, I want to really step on the gas with this. Write it for $1,000. Write it for $5, $10, whatever you feel comfortable with. The only thing I ask you is do not use the money that we asked you to bring for the course. Because that's not in a check form anyways. That's in a cash form, right? That money doesn't go anywhere. That's to be used for a visualization exercise. Okay. So again, even $5 on your check, even $1 is fine, because what's most important, the habit or the amount? Say that please with me. The habit is more important than the amount. Again, the habit is more important than the amount. Why don't you see, let's see your daily contribution. What are you putting in today? Now, here's the question. What if during the month you put a bunch of money in here? Can this count towards your 10%? Yes, of course it can. Absolutely, yes it can. Or it can be over and above. It's up to you. I'm going to say it again. The bigger your magnet, the faster the money comes. Raise your hand if you've got your check made out completely, yes? Or an IOU? All right, go ahead and hand out the envelopes, please. On the front of the envelope, write Financial Freedom Account, or FFA, whatever you choose. Financial Freedom Account. Put your check or IOU inside there and seal it. And the question I have for you is this. How many of you commit, what's the word? To depositing this check or IOU into your financial freedom account or in the bank or in your jar within 3 days of returning from this program? Okay, does anybody not commit to that? Okay, so everyone is committing. So there's no reason whatsoever that you're not going to start to immediately put more attention on this account, yes? And I don't care if you're a multimillionaire, same thing. Now, I want to share a couple of more pieces with you. Poor people believe that the reason you work is to pay for your current lifestyle, pay for your expenditures. Understand? I'm going to say it again. Poor people believe that the reason you work is to pay for your expenditures, your current lifestyle. Rich people believe that the primary reason to work is to earn the money to invest so that you can win the money game. Big distinction in mentalities, because one of them ends up winning and one of them ends up losing. Do you understand that? Again, poor people believe the reason you work every day is to pay for your current lifestyle expenses. Rich people believe the reason you work and make money every day is to have the money to invest so that you can win the game. Big difference. So, I'll show you what I mean by this. There are at least three stages that we'll go with. Okay, let me just explain this to you. So stage number one is where a lot of people are. They get their money from their job or their business. So the money comes from their job or business, and it goes to pay their expenses. That's where most people are. Stage number two is where I'm asking you to go immediately, and if you're already there, up it dramatically. The money from your job or business, part of it goes to pay for your passive income investments, right? And part of it goes to pay for your expenses. Got it? Yes or no? So you split that off. By the way, you know how many people get to here? Maybe 10%, 20%, that's it. And all the people who come through our courses. The minute they go home, they go from here to here. Got it? As soon as you start the jars, you're in this game now. And stage three is when you have no more job or business because your money from your passive income investments, now pays for your expenses. And now you are what? Free. You're free. Understand? So when you can exchange your job or business money for your passive income investment money, then you're free. See, when you can go from your job or business paying for your expenses to your passive income paying for your expenses, then you're what? Free. And how on earth can you change it if you don't build it? Got it? If you play this game forever, you'll be in this game forever, which means if you have expenses, you have to work. Got it? So the only way you can have your passive income investments pay for your expenses in stage three is to build them at some point in time. That's what you're doing starting right this second. And for those of you who are already there, you're building it up even faster now. By the way, I should say this. There's some people who are really good at this, and they don't even wait till they're financially free to have their investments pay for their lifestyle. So here's what I'm going to say this. There's a magic rule that if you can do this, this is great. But it says simply this. It says this. The ideal situation is that instead of buying an expense, you might want to write this down. Instead of buying an expense, let's say you have a major expense. Instead of buying an expense, buy an asset that will pay for that expense. Or instead of asset, you can say buy a passive income stream that will pay for that expense. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, his wife wanted a brand new Mercedes. It was a $100,000 Mercedes, okay? Now, instead of buying the Mercedes, what they did, because they're wealthy and smart, is they bought a storage complex, okay, that ended up with $2,000 a month in positive cash flow. They used the money from the $2,000 in positive cash flow to pay for the Mercedes payments of $1,200 a month. So now they bought the storage complex. They have $2,000 a month that throws off. They pay for the Mercedes at $1,200 a month. They have a Mercedes. They still have $800 a month left over. Plus, after several years, the storage complex went through the roof in appreciation. Is that a smart way to do things? Yes or no? Or you can do it the way poor people do it. Let's just buy the Mercedes. We'll drive a nice car. We are frickin' broke, but we have a nice car, okay? That's good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Buy assets, create passive income structures that pay for the big expenses that you have. All right, now, let's go on with this. Remember, clarity equals what? Power. You have to be crystal clear on what it takes for you to win the money game. The goal is simple, to have your passive income exceed your expenses. And again, the amount is different from everybody, but you have to know clearly what it is for you. So, here's what we're going to do. Remember that initial number that you wrote down as to how much money you need per year? Yes or no? In passive income, for you to live the lifestyle you want, I want you to re-look at that number now that you're more ingrained in our philosophy with simplification, with understanding. And hold on. I want you to come up with what I'm going to call your first level of financial freedom. First level. What that means is this. Okay, take Harv. So Harv would prefer to have $1 million a year in passive income for me to be financially free. That's my preference. But the truth is, if I really look at it and go, is that level one? I say, well, no, I don't really need that kind of money, to be financially free. Like, what would it really take for me to just, I don't have to live in the lap of luxury, but just to have the choice that I know in my life, I never actually have to work again. Okay? What would it take? How much would that take, Harv? Okay, according to my expenses, it might take, really, I could probably live pretty good, at least to a point where I don't ever feel like I have to work again. $150,000 a year, I could live okay, level one. I can handle that. Understand? Right. A reasonable amount, at least for some of you anyways. So, $150,000 a year. So now my number that would then be, I need I don't say $1 million a year, I say $150,000 a year, because that's level one. Once I've reached level one, am I allowed to go to level two? Of course you are. That's what I want you to get. Let's start with a level one number that you can realistically shoot for now and go for. Once you get there, you can up it. Go to level two, level three. You can even write them all down. Level one, $150,000 a year. Level two, $250,000 a year. Level three, $500,000 a year. Level five, $1 million a year. Let's see what level one looks like, where at least you know you never have to work again. Unless you choose to. Winning the game. Can everybody buy that? All right. What's your level one number? Don't make it like too low where you go, oh God, I'm going to have to supplement this. No. Make it to where you can be on the golf course, on the beach all day long, basically, if you want to. You don't have to live, buy yachts and boats or anything. Just do what you want to do, basically. All right? So I want you to come up with that number right now. Revise this. You can put level 1. Financial freedom number 1. FF level 1. Always include the taxes and inflation. So it's always 50% more. Right? So level 1. What's your level 1 number? FF level 1. Per year, okay? All right. By the way, how many people have made a bit of a revision from their first number? Very good, very good. How many of you feel more comfortable now that you can actually win this game now? Right? How many of you are excited right now that this is an amount that's feasible for you? You know what it takes for you to win the game now, right? And you know what it takes for first stage. In other words, you can live with this. This feels good for you, yes? Yes. Clarity is what? Power. It's what? Power. You feel the power, yes or no? So you have a number in your mind now, and you know what it's going to take. This much in passive income. Now you can shoot for something. Now you can play the game. Now you got a hoop. Before you were dribbling around. I mean, where do I shoot? Nothing. You just drill. All you do is get sweaty and tired. You can't score any points. All right. How are you going to be absolutely certain that you create this? All right. Here's the big question for you. What are you going to do financially once you're free? What are you going to do on a financial level once you're free? Sleep in. Sleep in is good, but it's not financial. That's right. Once you're financially free, remember the law of maintenance, you still have to do something. You still have to do what? Manage and invest your money. Yes or yes? Does that take any time? Yes or no? Of course it does. Does it take a long time? Not usually. Most people who are financially free, they spend some time managing and investing their money. Yes? Okay. In fact, once you have quite a bit of money, it's a daily thing. So generally, you have to spend about 20, 30 minutes a day for sure handling your money. Calling this broker, going that, moving this, changing that, checking that. Yes? Checking it out. That's generally the case. Now, so what's going to happen is managing and investing your money in the future when you're free is going to be your part-time business. It's going to be your only business. Yes or yes? So the secret is to get into that business now. One of the things I always teach my participants is whatever you want later, start doing it now. If you want to be courageous later, be courageous when? Now. Because we are creatures of what? If you want to be turn into a kind person, when do you have to start being kind? Now. If you want to be rich, when do you have to start acting rich? Now. So do what rich people do. So the secret is to consider yourself from now on in a new part-time business. The business of managing and investing your money, as well as creating and participating in passive income streams. Now listen to this. This business is the most lucrative business in the world. How do you know? Because only rich people are in it. Poor people are not in this business. Understand? That's why it's the most lucrative business in the world. So, I'm going to ask you to commit. What's the word? To 20 to 30 minutes per day for your new part-time business. And if you're willing to do that, you will be free for the rest of your life. So, what do you do in your 20 to 30 minutes? Number one, you can learn about investments and learn about passive income streams and passive income structures. You can actually invest. In other words, it takes time to call the broker. It takes time to hit the computer. It takes time to speak to the money management fund. You know what I'm saying? It does take a little time. You understand? It takes time. And you can actually create passive income streams. Maybe you wanted to write the book for royalty purposes, but you're too busy and you're too busy working. Not this 30 minutes. This 30 minutes is for your financial freedom. So if you want to create that royalty, you take 30 minutes every day and you write that book. And within a year or two, the book will be done. Hopefully it'll be a bestseller, and you start collecting a royalty for it. Or it's on your licensing your idea, or systemizing your business, or whatever it is. You take 30 minutes a day for that. Now, this is not an extra 30 minutes for you to work. This is an extra 30 minutes so that you never have to work again. So I don't want you taking this 30 minutes and going, oh God, I'm so busy, I'll throw in this extra 30 minutes into work. Now you understand this? Here's the deal. The 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day that you do your normal working income, you know what that's going to do? That's going to make you a slave. But the 30 minutes a day that you put into this will set you free. Isn't it strange that you spend 10 hours with doing what's going to make you a slave and 30 minutes with being free, and most people aren't even willing to put the 30 minutes in? Do you understand? It's strange, isn't it? Now, if I were you, I'd change it around. And the only reason you need the 10 hours is to make sure you're doing something decent with the 30 minutes. Is to make sure you have some money to use the 30 minutes properly. So your whole new working life and business revolves around the 30 minutes of your part-time business. And you work 10 hours a day in order to have some money so you can use the 30 minutes properly. Do you get it? Yes or no? Because that's where your freedom is. It's not, your freedom is not in the 10 hours. It's in the 30 minutes. Does that make any sense? Okay, get back with your partner again. Get back with your partner. Look him in the eye. I, state your name, hereby proclaim myself to be in a new part-time business. The business of managing and investing my money and creating passive income streams. B, say, congratulations, you have a millionaire mind. We have a handout for you. Again, I believe very strongly in declarations to where you really start to live these principles, okay? So, these would be incredible principles for you to understand. And if you understand these and live by these, your whole life will change. So, please stand up. This is called Attitudes of Wealth, Winning the Money Game. Now, put your hand on your chest. And I want you to say these like you mean them and ingrain them in every cell of your body. Are you ready to play? Yes? Yes. Oh, man. Are you ready to play? Yes? Yes. We're going to say them together. Let's go. I am an excellent money manager.
I always pay myself first. I put money into my financial freedom fund every day. My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money. I earn enough passive income to pay for my desired lifestyle. I am financially free. I work because I choose to, not because I have to. My part-time business is managing and investing my money and creating streams of passive income.
Give somebody a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind. How many of you had a good time tonight? How many of you got your head twisted around? How many of you know how to win the frickin' game now? How many of you know there's a system to winning the game? All right, good. So, now people ask us all the time, where do you buy the jars? No, I'm not kidding you. For years and years and years, we would go around to cities and wherever we were, we say, there's ones in Walmart, but they don't have enough, and this and that. So here's what we ended up doing. So what we found is that the people who start the jars immediately, start the system immediately, everything changes for them immediately. So the people who don't buy the jars, what do you think happens for them? Not a heck of a lot. Go back to their old habits, it's over. I urge you, start the jars when? Now. When you take them home tonight, you immediately put money into which one? Where do you get that money from? Your envelope. You've already got it. You start building the magnet when? Immediately. Immediately. And just watch the miracles that occur. I'm telling you this. I hope you understand. I'm coming from my heart here. I don't know why it works. I mean, I have an idea, but I know that it works. I know that if you start to do this money management system, that all kinds of miracles will begin to occur in your life that you had no way of knowing, why am I starting to get lucky? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, how many of you would like to be a lucky person? How many like to be very lucky when it comes to money? All right. Let the universe support you. The universe, I promise you, when you start doing your end, it will start doing its end. Do you understand that? You have to support yourself. You've got to start the jars. You've got to start immediately. And then the universe watches you, like Michelle, split up $1 a month. And it goes, wow, look at how well they're handling their money now. They deserve more. Let's give them more now that they know what to do with it, now that they wouldn't slit their throat with it, okay? Now that they won't fail with giving them a double or triple, let's give them more. And it will. The magnetization of this, you know, again, in Wizard, you'll learn all about the quantum physics about this. We don't need to do that for all you have to do is do it, and then write us the emails on the miracles that have occurred for you as you begin to play it this way. You promise? Okay, good. So I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Listen closely. It's by Wade Cook. He said this: if you will do what most people won't do for the next few years, then you can do what most people can't do for the rest of your life. Should I say it again? If you will do what most people won't do for the next few years, then you can do what most people can't do for the rest of your life. Are you willing to play the game to win? Yes. Do you know how to win? Yes. You know how to win. Don't make this more complicated. Just start and you'll figure it out, okay? And tomorrow, now it's very easy to win, right? Yes. Is it easy to win? Yes. So why aren't most people rich? Because one thing is to know what to do, but it's a whole other game to what? Do what you know. And that's why we're going to take the next 2 days to make sure that you do what you know. Got it? All right. How many of you are excited? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to let it go. Whoa.